What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is A2D Wednesday nights. We're going to talk about getting our ass kicked. Let's go.
Oh my God! I'm embarrassed! He's flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time.
Welcome in, everybody. This is A2D Wednesday nights, only on A2D Radio. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by Philly Sports Trips, the Philadelphia 5 for 5 sports travel company, premium travel and tailgating experiences for the passionate fans of Philadelphia. Go to phillysportstrips.com and book your next getaway today or tomorrow, or, sometime this week, before the weekend. All right, before the weekend, go do that immediately. You won't be disappointed. Obviously, not just Eagles away games, but a bunch of Phillies on the docket too. Go check them all out. phillysportstrips.com is where you can find them. Frank Vespi, Noe Eaton, Greg Mlokovic, Ralph Delvecchio, Ryan Brodo. I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, welcome in. We'll talk about the Phillies-Dodgers series. We'll recap that a little bit. Got bent over in that series. That was fun. Nice return of Harper. So we'll dissect that a little bit. Haven't missed the barrel either in that series. So sadly, we got to talk about that. We'll preview Game 3, Sixers Celtics. Hopefully, a little bit better than Game 2. And our main topic at hand: Sixers Celtics Game 2. Post game ties into our poll question. That's brought to you by FanUp, and FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NBA, daily MLB contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use promo code A2D. You get $50 right at sign up. You can download FanUp on the Apple Store. A poll question for tonight: you're concerned about the Sixers' fate in this series after watching tonight's performance. Agree or disagree? Let us know. Well, soon to be back on Facebook, but YouTube, Twitter, and everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow, join the conversation, download us, tell your friends about us, and most importantly, answer the poll question. All right? Are you concerned that something changed tonight after how you felt in Game 1? I totally disagree to this poll question. I think if people want to dive into the score of the game and that's why you're concerned, but anybody that's going to bring up Joel Embiid tonight, I'm going to tell you right now, first off, exit the screen immediately. Just go away. Just go away. Don't talk on this show. Don't talk in the comments. I actually don't want those people tonight. I want no parts of those people tonight. If you think the Sixers lost tonight because Joel Embiid was on the court, you're delusional. All right, they were losing regardless. Just to riddle everybody that. All right, that line didn't move when they knew Joel was back. Okay, so Vegas didn't even move the line. I think it moved 2 points. I got the Sixers at +8 tonight. When at 3 o'clock this afternoon, once I knew Joel was playing. 3 o'clock this afternoon, when he said, I'm back. We didn't need a reporter. We didn't need to wait for breaking news. He said it. And if you know something about how this league works, if a star player is telling you he's playing, guess what he's doing? He's going to go play. So he played. So leave him out of this tonight. The reason the Sixers lost this game tonight is because your second best player off a 45-point performance was 2 for 14 and 0 for 6 from 3. Don't tell me that, he was that because Joel's back and he don't know what to do. Shut up. He's played basketball long freaking enough to know what to do. All right? Long enough he's known how to play. That's unacceptable from him tonight. You want to give me 20, 22, be a little off? Sure, we can all live with that. Tonight's putrid, because the guy playing on one leg also had 5 blocks for the people telling me we're not better with him or we're better without him. Knock it off, man. You're an underdog with a dog ski mask on, and you went in and stole money Game 1. That's what you did because you're playing without the best player in basketball, and they knew it, and they took it lightly. You see the difference? Human nature, Bill. Where you took your foot off the gas because you thought, we can just show up tonight, right? We can just show up, strap on her, lift her pants up, tie her sneakers real tight. Maybe if you got the old Reeboks, you double pump them, okay? And they thought they could just show up. And James Harden smacked him in the mouth. And the Sixers.
Yeah.
Game 2 is a must-win for the Boston Celtics. This is all why I disagree to the poll. It's a must-win by the Boston Celtics. Do I like getting my ass kicked? Absolutely not. That's not ideal ever. Right? But a loss is a loss. Any way you want to shake it out to be. Right? The score doesn't dictate, oh, I lost by 30, so, now I'm concerned. You stole home court. You went to Boston and did exactly what you want to do, and you stole home court. Get the emotions out of it. Tonight's disgusting, but get it out of it. You can be disgusted about tonight and not be all concerned. You're either concerned pre-start and nothing changed, but you can't shift. You can't steal game 1 and then say, oh, the Sixers are going to win the series, and then say, oh, like when everybody prior had them losing this series, game 1 happens, now everybody's back on the wagon, rightfully so, but then you can't shift and say, well, hypothetically, this is why I had them losing in 6, or this is why I'm losing in 7.
Yeah, everybody's jumping now. Everybody's jumping now.
You either stick to it or don't stick to it throughout a series. It's a pre-series prediction. Stick to it and be a man, or don't come in the chat. Guys like Bill, don't come in here tonight because I'll just expose people. Right? If we thought the Sixers win this series, you had it going probably, if you're 6, I think you're delusional a little bit, 7, like myself. So you expected a damn dogfight. Okay? You didn't expect this to be easy? You think it was going to be easy? You think you're going to sweep them? Winning 5?
That's crazy.
You think you were taking 2 there? You really thought that you were going to Boston and taking 2? Now, this is what happens. It happened with the Phillies last year, too, and I'll leave it at this on why I disagree. Okay? When the star comes back, people take their foot off the gas. Their attention to detail isn't the same because they expect this guy to carry them, even though you don't realize you got to play him tonight to get his stamina back. Bigger than any other goddamn thing that morons want to talk to me about. You got to get the stamina back.
Didn't play for 13 days.
Yeah, that matters.
Yeah.
Right? And he still had 5 blocks. But that being said, like, you knew they were taking
and scored more points than Harden.
Yeah, I mean, you knew they were scoring, and you knew that Boston was taking this game tonight. That's it. Nobody had us going down there. You already did what you needed to do. Now, it would have been nice to come out and steal another one? Sure. Probably unrealistic in this thing. But now, you better come home and take care of game 3, or then you're allowed to start maybe panicking a little bit. But even if you go back there 2-2, right? Even if you go back there 2-2, you're still in the driver's seat. Make sense? It's just an even series.
Yep.
So in no way, shape, or form should a game by game dictate your outcome unless you're down 2-0, right? Then you can start saying, ruh-roh, here we go again. No, guys, we're 1-1 with the Boston Celtics right now, coming back to Philadelphia. If you didn't take that before the series signed up, go punch yourself square in the face. There's where I stand. Disagree with the poll completely.
Ralphie?
No, I'll go last. I'll let you guys go first. You go first, right? I'll go last.
Tom, I got to thank you because I feel a lot. I mean, listen.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. It's like 7 minutes of ranting. I apologize.
No, I feel
you're good.
I feel better. I feel better about. I thought
8, but who's counting?
No, the intro. There's other things.
Yeah, there's other things.
It's not a full 8. About 6. Solid 6. Solid 6.
It's a flexed 8. It's a flex because of the other things.
The Thursday night game. The Thursday night.
Exactly.
Or no, it's a Sunday night flex thing game. Yeah.
9 minutes.
Did you want to go, Frank?
No. I was just counting. I was just counting counters. And I'm seeing 9. It's like, oh, we're at 9 minutes now. All right.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't know if you were speaking German or something.
Gesundheit.
I feel a lot better after those 7, 8, 9 minutes, Tom, because to be honest, like I was joking with Ralphie, I'm like, I don't know if I should be on the air right now because I'm just like miserable. I'm a miserable human, as we all are, right? Like, regardless of how we had this series going, us winning the series, us losing the series, you don't want to see that, right? Anyone who wants to come in here and be like, oh, this proves that we're a better team without Embiid, and they want to flash the stat, which is ironically now on every national media platform that they're Embiid's like 1-8, 1-9 against the Celtics in the playoffs. Like, I love how that's just like flashed everywhere. That like there's a website now. This shouldn't define how you look at a series, right? You're either having us go the distance and beating them, or the other way around. If you magically thought after game one, while we were excited, right? Like we were on the air, we were feeling good about it. We were talking about how it was one of the best playoff performances in recent memory, right? If that switched your mindset into having us lose in 7 games to us winning in 4 games, that was where you made the mistake, right? Like that's just, you just can't do that. Listen, would I have liked for them to show a little bit more effort, just a little bit, let alone a lot, in a game 2 matchup, right? Like make them fight for it at least into the halfway through the fourth quarter. Yeah. Right. I completely agree that it was almost like, oh, the MVP's back. So, everybody else is going to be a little bit lackluster with rebounding or just pretty much everything, right? Harden was a disaster, which is ironic because of course it's similar to what we saw last year against Miami, right? Where he had that crazy, I want to say it was game 4 or game 5, one of those games where he just went off. I know you guys don't agree, disagree, we're live. And then we're like, oh my God, he's back. And then the next game, he had 5 points or something disastrous. If I understand it's all about needle moving. It's like, I feel great this night, this great, not great the next night. I have this going the distance. We were going to lose games, right? And this is just one of them. And at the last thing I'll say, this, there's not an overall stat where it's like, oh, if you blow a team out, it counts for 2 wins. Right? It's an L either way. Would I have liked it to be closer? Of course. It's a loss, whether we lost by a point or by 31 points. So this shouldn't define how we look at it.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going and disagree as well. I mean, I think you guys have hit it on the nail. Can you be disgraced? Like Tommy said, can you be disgraced with the performance and whatnot? Yes, absolutely. But let's also give credit to Boston. I still think they're making threes in the locker room as they're throwing their tape off. You know what I mean? I mean, they didn't miss from 3 tonight, right? And then it's Jayson Tatum drops 50 and we win. We hold him to 7 points and we get run out the gym, right? Like it's almost like make it make sense, right? But they, as Tommy, as you mentioned, it was a must win for them. There was no shot they could go down. Right before the game, I looked, it was still at 7.5. And I'm like, you got the MVP back. How is that not under 5? You know what I mean? I expected Boston to be the favorite, but where it was the other night before they ruled Joel out, it was 4.5, 5 points. Why was it not closer to that than it was closer to the line? And that kind of told you everything. But this was such a pivotal game for Boston, and they played lights out. Let's not take anything away from it. I mean, they were plus 45, 50, something like that from 3-point range. I mean, that wins the game itself. So we could be all pissed off, and I think everyone is, that we're not getting that 2.5 hours back of our lives because we just watched that pathetic performance. And then also keeping it close would allow Joel to play in the fourth quarter or more minutes to help get himself back. But I thought he looked fine. I mean, yeah, were there times where he might have been struggling up and down the floor? Yes, but it wasn't the reason we lost the game. We lost the game because we were a minus 700 from 3-point line. I think we only made 5 in the game ourselves.
Yeah, we struggled, Greg. We weren't good. Bill, I would just shut up. Driver's seat, meaning that you're 2-2 in a series that I think the Sixers are winning in 7. So, Bill, to do that, you're gonna have to win some games on the road, babe. You know what I mean? I only got 3 at home, right? I don't know if I'm winning all 3 at home anyway, right? I don't look at it like that. I actually give the Celtics respect. So I don't say, hey, I'm gonna come home and I'm definitely gonna win 2. I say if I go back there 2-2, I still feel good about myself. In my eyes, I'm still in that driver's seat because I just got to take one there. I got to steal one there again, and I believe I can do it. So totally understand what's coming out, the words that are coming out of people's mouths before you just say shit.
He has a hard time doing that.
So, and then you're gonna tell me good night again and you'll probably do this 15 times. You know what I mean? So go ahead, Noah.
What's up, fellas? How are you?
I know.
Been better.
Wonderful.
Nah, I hear you. Overall, let's be honest. Going into this series, we knew it was going to be a dogfight. It's probably going to go 6 or 7 games. And, What the hell? You're up in Boston. We stole game one. Embiid didn't play. Go figure. Embiid plays and we get blown out. But when you really dive deep into it, my only real concern is where was our bench tonight? I mean, not much production from the bench. Meanwhile, you look at Boston and you got Grant Williams and Malcolm Brogdon. Brogdon dropping 23 and Grant Williams also putting double digits up there in point production. I mean, I think Boston, they got a nice contribution from their bench, which kind of made up for Tatum only scoring 7 points, and Jaylen Brown hurt us once again. I mean, look, it was a shit performance all the way around, but we're only 2 games in. You come back Friday night and be ready to play, and I don't see why we don't have a shot at taking Game 3 and regaining some control of the series.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree.
Yeah, but the bench has got to be better.
Well, starters got to be better too. So.
Well, you need more than 12 points from Harden, no doubt about it.
And 13 from Maxey and 16 from Tobias.
Yeah,
right. But no, your backcourt needs to be better than it was tonight.
Yeah,
yep.
I mean, Tobias was your best player tonight.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if anybody thinks we're winning in Boston if Tobias is my best player. Not a shot at Tobias. I just have other guys that are better scorers than that. I got the MVP of the league.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's cool. Keep that guy out. There's no need to play.
Well, I'm going up to Boston this weekend. If you want, maybe I'll try to steal the Celtics sneakers out of their locker room or something.
I'm sure they have other pairs.
Just steal everything.
Guy lives in 1980. You know what I mean? You live in 1980.
Guy's planning a heist when they're not even there.
I didn't even want to go there. I didn't even want to go there. I mean, that
you missed them, Noah. You missed the bus. You missed them by a couple of days, Noah. They probably brought the shoes.
Don't worry. When the series comes back, never mind.
Oh, you'll just stay up there in disguise?
Yeah.
He's gonna hide in the bathroom.
Yeah. Let us know. Keep us updated.
Dominic, our 3-point shooting. I mean, when one of your guards is 0 for 6, not good. Not good.
6 for 30.
Yeah.
I mean, only positive is. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I just say 2 of your starters were 0 for 8, so it's hard to.
Only positive tonight was that nobody got hurt. I think PJ's okay after that little knee buckle.
Just freaking trampling on his ankle. My God!
Don't get me started on Marcus.
Yeah, but can we stop doing this, guys? Like they both had a good game. They both didn't have good games in game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like we walk around like some of these guys are Jordan. Like we talk about them like they're like better than they are. Like they had a big game tonight. All right. The guys stepped up for them, but those same guys didn't have good games in game 1. So it's not like those guys, like you can't be stopped, right? Or they're, you know what I mean? And I think that's how we have to look at it. Like they have 2 guys that are essentially like unstoppable players per se. And Tatum was stopped tonight, but you know what I mean? Like Tatum and Brown. Like the rest of their guys are role players that can get hot, but they're not guys that are hot every night or they want to be role players.
Well, Tommy, the Celtics as a team overall over the last month or so, they've been very up and down anyway.
They have.
When you've got a role player like that or 2 of them going off, you just need your role players to at least try to match it. And that's where the swing was. If your starter, your best player didn't have a leg, your best player was Tobias, Harden was atrocious, and everyone else was just kind of just sloppy.
Yeah, and I think part of that is like getting them back out there too, because you just played like 2 games without them. So like I think another part of that is like, okay, let's see what adjustments we got to make by playing together again. You don't want this outcome, but by playing together again, then what kind of adjustments do we need to make by game 3 to have better ball movement, to have better, you know what I mean, to have some more fluidity to our offense. So and listen, and that will come. I mean, listen, we talk about they can't play with Joe. I mean, they won the 3 games in the net series easily, and he was the distributor. So I don't want to hear about bad ball movement comes with Joel Embiid playing. That's false, okay? Because he's done such a better job with that. All right, do we have some more turnovers with Joe playing? Yeah, you do. All right. And that's you're going to take that. Right. But he only had 3 tonight. So it wasn't like it was an egregious, like he had like 7. Right. So, are things going to go that way? Yeah. But you're also hoping that you're going to get 30. So, I mean, the people that are upset with him playing tonight or we win without him, you're crazy. No way Harden's going for 45 tonight. So
he's the only reason why we're even still in the game at halftime. Right? His defense in the paint, if you remove that, right? Because it would have been replicant of first half in game 1. The game we would have been down 25.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a yeoman's effort to be down 8 at halftime.
Yes.
With the way the first half went, right? With the way Harden was playing, the defense was playing, like they were hitting everything, and then you're only down 8. Like you have to, like if you're the Sixers, you probably had to feel good going in there only down 8.
I know.
Just get
having
exposed in the third quarter, which isn't like that team.
No, like having it playing at work, right? It's like, all right, like 8, what I mean? Like can you come out a little hot in the third? Make them sweat a little bit. And they came out with their hair on fire in the third. Yep. Right. And listen, when you're playing a damn good team, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Like rightfully so. And that's not letting the Sixers off the hook. All right. Because you're still allowed to go be a killer. Make sense? It doesn't have to be that way. But they just didn't have any juice tonight, right? It looked like they were late on balls on the floor. They were late in rotations.
Effort.
Right? Like they were just late on everything, right? So how many open threes happened tonight? Right? I couldn't even watch it like I usually do. And I could tell you there was a lot of them, it felt like. So all that was like late, and that's satisfied, which you don't like, okay? But it's satisfied in the way, again, human beings that, hey, we took care of our business here. Doesn't mean you can't go take care too. Sure. So you're just listen. This time of the year when you're playing a team like this too, and you're looking from both angles. Boston foot off the gas. Sixers steal one, right? Mm-hmm. Sixers a little foot off the gas. Boston rolls them. Okay, so it just shows you that neither one can overlook the other side or say, hey, we took care of business. The Sixers was a total. Hey, we're cool. We're ready to fly home. That's what tonight was. That's a getaway day in baseball. I don't like that in the playoffs when it is the defending Eastern Conference champions. But, right, it doesn't mean that, guys weren't playing hard either. Sometimes you're just, I don't know.
I think to your point, real quick before you go, Frank, to your point, Tom, when they're shooting that lights out again, right? Like Jaylen Brown, and this is not to say Jayson Tatum's not good or he's overrated. To me, right, and we've talked about this for years, Tom. If I'm going against Boston, I am going to automatically fear Jaylen Brown more than Jayson Tatum, right? I just think he brings.
I've always been bigger fan of him.
He's just got that level of consistency, and also he's one of those guys where I'm shocked when he misses a basket, when he misses a shot, right? I'm shocked, I'm stunned. Where Tatum's got a little bit more consistency to him. When you've got guys like Brown and Brogdon and Smart, who was, I feel like Brogdon was second leader in scoring going into halftime for Boston. You need everything to go perfect, at least on the Sixers end, to keep up with them, right? We were putrid from 3. Embiid's already, limited offensively, right? Harden's atrocious. So you're already fighting an uphill battle. And then it's oh, wait, our role players aren't doing anything. And, oh, we've got a little bit of level of, kind of coasting. Oh, we already handled our business. That's why it was so skewed. And then to your point, it's halfway through the third quarter, as soon as they go on their little run, the Celtics, it's everybody, I guarantee it probably thought in their heads, all right, back to Philly. And then
that's a complete check out then. Yeah. I don't necessarily believe they checked out early on in this game. I don't believe they checked out at halftime. I believe they came out and got smacked in the face in the third and then checked themselves out. I don't think they were focused enough tonight either, coming out of the gates at halftime. So you sort of dealt with a little bit of all that tonight. And listen, it's no excuse. Game 3 is the next one up, right? So, and that's where you run to.
Frank?
I am going to agree with everybody else and also disagree to the poll tonight. I mean, yeah, they got the job done in Boston in game 1. You managed to split. I'm fine with splitting. It would have been nice to get both in Boston, but I'll take the split, take the series back to Philadelphia, and hopefully get games 3 and 4. I do have this game going 7 games in favor of the good guys, but seeing this game, you're riding off a really good high. James Harden going off for 45, getting that go ahead to steal the win. Yeah, Joel coming back and also winning the MVP. Congrats to him. They were just riding off a high, and well, they were in that car, foot off the gas and under the influence of said high. So with that, Boston did what they needed to do. Avoided getting down, and I have no worries going into game 3 and 4.
Oh, man.
Go on. Get it out.
No, I'll be quick. I'll be quick. I disagree as well. When we first did the predictions for the series, I had Sixers in 7. I'm going to stick with that. I think your main goal as a team that doesn't have home court advantage or, has to start off on the road is to at least get one, either game 1 or game 2 at that place. And look, the Sixers did that, right? They rode James Harden. 40 pause on that one. That comment right there, please. 45 points for James Harden in game 1. And then obviously if you came into this game, I mean, if you're a basketball fan or a person in general that watch playoff games, you usually know when a team gets that hot in game 1, usually they go a little cold in game 2, right? They come back down to earth. And obviously Joel comes back tonight, and you see it all over, social media that Joel's this with against the Celtics in the playoffs. Dude hasn't played in 13 days. Okay. He's got to get his cardio back. He's all right. And guess what? In 13 minutes, guys, he had 5 blocks. Then he'll be all right. Okay. Joel, 13 minutes, he had 5 blocks. He'll be all right. Obviously the thing with James Harden, you kind of thought he would come back down to earth, but the shooting performance tonight that he had, definitely wasn't pleasing for any Sixers fans out there. But I think you guys are completely fine. You have home court advantage now. If you just go ahead and get one in game 3 or get another W in game 4, I think you'll be all right. Like I said, I have Sixers in 7. I'm sticking with it. I'm not going to jump off ship like everybody else is after this game. But listen, I think you guys still get this series done in 7. I really do.
Yeah,
you got to feel good. You did your job. You did your job. You took one in Boston.
Yep.
Now, but the question is now, can you do it again? Right? Can you steal like a game 5 in Boston if you're to come back home for game 6?
Yeah, you might have to
steal 7. We might have to steal 3 of them in Boston.
Yep.
And I think it's possible. I think you're good enough to do that. You're good enough to do that. But the scary thing is that now you're coming back home to Philly, and Jayson Tatum had one of the worst performances in his playoff career. And we're all sports guys here. We know that he's going to become out dealing in game 3. So now how do you react to that? You know what I mean?
Well,
because he's not going to shoot that. He's not going to shoot that bad again in game 3.
Well,
in the next game.
Good. Because he gets a little hoggish, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
keep the ball away from Jaylen.
Yeah. And they don't really run an offense too well when that happens. So, he was really good in game 1 and we won that game. So, I mean, there's no way in knowing. It's really what other guys are going to step up around it too, right? Like the one somebody said, the DeAnthony Melton missed 3 down 6. That is like a turning point. Ethan says, when you miss it bad, you have a chance to cut it to 3. That's tough if you have those opportunities and you're not capitalizing. Where he had a great game 1, right, or a great first half in game 1. So. It's just the way it goes.
A guy that's been fairly productive throughout the year too, right? You know what I mean? So, that's the game of basketball too, right? I mean, we always joke about the NBA how it's a game of runs, and at halftime I ran out to get the show Mello to come back, and my dad's like, "Oh, they're down 20." I'm like, "Yep, give it 5 minutes. They'll only be down. You'll only be down 10." And it just went the other way, right? I was like, "Oh, maybe they're going the other way."
The most
5 minutes and they're down 30.
Yeah, I was gonna say stay another 5. The most DeAnthony Melton kind of transition, not even transition, kind of sequence happened earlier where I said this to Ralphie before we came on, that I've never seen a guy panic when he's 5 feet within the rim, right? Like, it's like he tried, instead of just going up for a simple layup. So he misses that, and I'm flipping out at the TV doing all that. Comes around, and then he gets an unbelievable steal. I think it was off of Brogdon trying to dribble around the perimeter, which leads to, I think it was 2 quick points for Maxey. It's like, that's the live and die off of DeAnthony Melton. There's times in game, and we saw this, in game 1 between the first and second half. First half, the guy can't miss at all from anything. 17 quick points. And in the second, at least he gives you that defense, but it's been anything but. That's somebody that you look at and it's like, okay, if you're going to get that kind of performance out of a Brogdon again, or Smart or White, something like that, that's somebody you look at in DeAnthony Melton where it's like, okay, I need you to do something offensively. Just something. I don't need 24, but just give us a presence that takes a little bit of pressure off of a Harden who is, barely an NBA player tonight.
Oh, that's what I would like to see them. Those, like, sit him down too. Like, I don't know. If you're gonna stink, like, I'm not going to just wait. I'm not going to wait around. I'm trying to win a game too.
Yeah, true.
Right? If you're gonna be bad on defense and like that, listen, I told you guys this. If there's going to be a game to steal, it was one because he has the layoff. He gets the fresh legs again. You see the difference in the shot from game 1 to game 2. If it's clear as day. You see the difference in his defense game 1 to game 2. Like, I'm not saying the dude's done. I'm saying the dude's old, right? And when you get older, it's a little harder to back. That doesn't mean he should be 2-14, 0 for 6, but he left it all out there game 1. That's the other side of it. Like, that's why he needs Joel. So anybody think that he's going to do that consistently because Joel ain't there? You're crazy. Because if that was the case, he would have had some semblance of a pulse tonight on the offensive side, and he didn't. It has nothing to do with Joel. Like, it had nothing to do with Joel. He wasn't good enough. If he makes shots early, guess who the offense is going to run around? People don't understand this crap. People are clueless. They don't understand. But when he's 0 for early and struggling early, and you see it, you're going to run an offense through him?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Tough. Yeah, it's the ISO BS. And
you're going to miss me with ISO, right? Like, not you, but people like ISO, the ball movement. Okay, so you talk about stagnant? It gets so stagnant with him and the ball in his hands. So who would you rather get stagnant with? I'm going to riddle everybody this. Who would you rather your offense? And actually, I want this up on all today because I don't feel like doing another video on this one too. Right? Like, if you want your offense to get stagnant, who would you rather get stagnant through? The MVP of the league or James Harden? With all due respect, he had a hell of a game 1. But who are you going to get? Who would you rather get stagnant through? Because if you're going to tell me James, I'm going to tell you, buy a basketball clue. Please help people. Let us help you tonight. Come on. This is just stupid. It's just people reaching for clicks. This is all it is. It's all it is. Oh, look at the record. They're better with it. They're better without Joel. They move the ball better. They do all these things better. They play more as a team. No, they don't. You morons. The guy was stagnant all Monday night. I watched it with my own eyes. Dribble. I said on his last shot, I almost didn't like it. Right? Before the shot, I was like, oh, my God, here we go.
Yes, we were bracing.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go, I said, and he buries it. And right up my rear. Good. Do it more then. But don't tell me he didn't get stagnant tonight and he didn't have his ISO opportunities that he failed at. So don't tell me one's because of the other. Like, we're going to, and all the people to take shots at, people are going to look to take him at the MVP of the league.
It's just a lazy narrative, Tom. It's people that are just looking at it like, oh, the common denominator or the difference is just Embiid. It's like, no, watch the first half. The game's over if he's not in the game. Like, no disrespect. I think Paul Reed's been, really solid in the series. Paul Reed isn't giving you 5 blocks in the first half like that. He's not, right? Like we saw this in game 1.
Because the difference, too, from game 1 to game 2 is they had 50 points in the paint because Joel wasn't there.
Yeah, but we missed that.
But that matter.
So they settled tonight. They settled, per se, and shot a ton of threes, okay? A ton of them.
They shot 51.
Right, a ton of them.
I think it was only 26 in the first game, too.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. So guess what? I would rather you do through a 7-game series. I would rather you live out there then. And if you make them all series,
congrats.
Then I got to live with it. And I gotta go home. I gotta go to Cancun. But I'm going to force you to do that. I would rather you take the harder shot than the easier
lesser
shot.
percentage shot. Absolutely.
Come on.
That's why it's like not to relate it to college, but like it's why Duke always goes up and down, and why they always fail in the March Madness is because they're so jump shot heavy. When you're a jump shot heavy team, your jump shot goes in and out in each game. And we're talking about Harden being just a flake. We needed him to be strong early while Joel got going. Right? We knew Joel wasn't going to be tip-top shape right away. Right? He was going to need that first 5 to 7 minutes of game time, get his break, come back in, and then he was going to probably be normal Joel. Right? So you needed Harden and Maxey to kind of get you through those first couple minutes. And unfortunately, that's when they struggled a lot. Especially Harden, he struggled all game, but that's when they both struggled a lot. Was early on.
We've talked about this so many times after regular season games, right? There's two ways. I'm not saying there's only two ways for them to, score points or anything, but they're two go-to things where they're the best Sixers team that we can possibly see. It's not ISO Harden. It's not even ISO freaking Embiid, because then we get back to just everybody stand around and hope that Embiid turns into Superman again for the fourth time in 7 days,
the
right?
Pick and roll.
It's the pick and roll, or if it's not that, and this goes to game one where you got to, I don't want to say you got away with not doing it because you had an all-time performance from Harden, right? So that's why you got away with it. But I saw a stat, earlier in the chat, Harden only had 6 assists in game one, right? We weren't moving the ball at all. It was just everybody was lights out from 3, mainly Harden. So that's the difference, right? To where that's when you talk about, and this isn't a Doc Rivers thing. Doc Rivers said it to the reporter after at the beginning of the second quarter. It's it'd be nice if we could pass the ball to each other. When Harden doesn't have it, and again, to all of our points, you can tell very early. You can arguably tell after the third shot that he misses, or the second shot that he misses within 5 feet. Start moving the freaking ball around, man. I literally made note of this. # no notes. I literally put down with 5 minutes and 3 seconds left to go in the third quarter. I made a note of that was the first time I thought to myself, oh, good ball movement. 5 minutes to go in the third. By that point, the game's over. By that point, it's over. It was right after a key timeout, and they scored 7 quick points to make it we were down 13, and then 2 seconds later we're down 23.
Yeah,
that can't happen. That cannot happen.
No, and we moved the ball good in the net series.
Oh my God, that's why you won. That's why you won.
And Joe wasn't hogging. They were running a double team at you. You were looking for you were looking for that extra pass. Extra passes create open looks, and ISO ball doesn't create that. Now, again, I'd much rather my ISO ball run through my big man. I'd much rather get into something Boston struggles with, which is the pick and roll as a whole. I'd rather get more into that a little bit than just the stagnant, no ball movement. Harden pounds it into the ground 75 times, in a shot clock. I got no time for that. I don't.
The other thing you noticed tonight too is, specifically PJ Tucker and George Niang, they're passing up the open shots that they're given to try and either make another perfect pass or to make a dribble drive. We know Tucker, all right, you get the ball in the corner, you shoot the ball, right? That's your shot. I don't need you then, faking it and driving. You're too slow at this point of your career to do that, right? Same thing with Niang. He caught a couple of passes on the wing, gave a pump fake and tried to dribble, drive as opposed to just one dribble and pull up. Those aren't your games, and you get these guys, in these types of when you get James struggling like that, then you get these other guys trying to make up for it by being too perfect instead of what they've always been. It's just catch and shoot guys.
Ted, what did you have that series going before the series? Because I'd love to know. You probably said 5 or 6, right? You probably said 5 or 6. I'm going to venture to guess you probably said 5 or 6, and they swept them. So I'm not telling you the Nets are good. Appreciate I love Captain Obvious. It's Nets aren't good. We know. That's why they went home in 4 games.
Teddy.
And the Sixers did what a good team does.
Didn't play down the competition. So
yeah, they
other teams around the league played down the competition. I'm
only comparing it with Joel. I'm saying the ball movement was better in that series. That's all I'm saying. I'm not telling you I'm not going that route and crowding them for winning that series. I'm saying the ball movement was better in that series. right? Was it
Displaying
not 10?
different ways to win. That's all.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, come on. Nobody's telling you the Nets are good. You always do this. You know what I mean? You always got to get Captain Obvious on a point with inside a game. It's not the series as a whole. We're talking about, hey, Joel did a good job of moving the basketball himself. That's all. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, you look like freaking mini Jokic for a couple games there where it's like, oh, I've got 3 guys on me. Okay, I'm going to kick it out to a wide open Tyrese Maxey. Thank you.
Because I don't think he has a problem being, like, unselfish.
No.
You know what I mean?
4 years ago, Embiid would never be able to pass out of double teams, right? Like, that's why he used to, in the playoffs, he would have 7-8 turnovers each game, right? Like, that's one of the main things that he's really gotten better with, that and obviously the mid-range jumper. Those are the 2 things that he didn't have that in this game, which is cough why he's the MVP now, one of the many reasons. Real quick, Greg, to your point, like Tucker, again, I'm not going to say it's fine, right? Because it's not fine. Like, if you have an open 3, like, do it, but at least he provides value outside of.
I don't disagree there, 100%.
The Niang thing, because he not only passes up 2 wide open 3s, the one where it was like getting really close to the game, getting away from us, and that's in the beginning of the third. He passes up a wide open 3 and elects to drive along up against Jaylen Brown, right? Like, this isn't against, like, I don't know, they have pretty good defenders everywhere there, but like one of the guys that are shutting down Harden, right? Like, George, you're not out there for anything else other than to take one of the few, because we're not running an offense through you, George. Like, you're going to have about 3 or 4 at the maximum looks at 3. When you get the ball, freaking shoot it, right? If it misses the arena, whatever. I'd rather you do that than do whatever you try to do, because instead of
I don't know what the play was. I mean, was it like was he wide open? Like, I find it weird if he's nobody was around him.
No,
they were coming to him, but when he
now,
caught
but
it,
he had plenty of time. There's
and it was towards the end of the shot clock too, to where like the one, not the one Ryan's talking about, but the one in the first half, he then dribbled into the middle and tried to get a shot off, but got blocked because
I saw that one. That was
that's the one that's the one I remember. So, and that's where I'm like, George, shoot the ball. You know what I mean? Like, shoot the ball. That's what you're there for, right? But you get guys when they see Harden struggling like that. Then you get guys in their head like, all right, what can I do to help out? George, what you can do to help out is just shoot the basketball.
The play time in the early third. It's so funny because it's not funny. It's disgusting, but it's ironic because what Greg's talking about, it happened on the same play. Tucker passed up a corner 3, right? Passed it off to Harden. Then he passed it off to Niang, and then Niang passes off the wide open 3, tries to drive on Jaylen Brown, and then he either turned it over or he just – I feel like he turned that over there. I don't know if it got blocked up. Bad things happen.
Yeah. I mean, he's there to shoot. I mean, I just didn't see the second one, so it's like hard to comment like on exactly if the pump fake's smart, if you get a guy jumping in the air, like you know what I mean? I don't know. Like I don't got a problem with him pump faking and driving. If you get a guy, if you think you can get a guy to the jump, or you got a scouting report like, hey, they're always going to fall for a pump. Right. Like, that stuff I don't have the answer to, but you're there to shoot 3-pointers. Like I do know that without needing the rest, but you're also not there to force the 3 either. So it's like, it's a give and take. Like when you get your ass kicked, when you get
everything's questioned.
There ain't nothing safe. Right, like earlier on, like, is it okay to be critical of Tyrese Maxey? I know he's young. Yes, it is. Yeah, what are we talking about? This is Philly. This ain't Oklahoma City. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is Philadelphia, right? We can be critical. But goodness gracious, that's 12 years of a process. Like, you're allowed to be critical of everything you want to be, right? You can be critical of the popcorn you get served at the Wells Fargo, right? The pizza slices, whatever you want to be critical of, you're allowed. You're allowed. When you sit through torture, when you get tortured from an organization and they come back and be relevant again, guess what you're allowed to do? Whatever you want. But the one thing you're not allowed to do is slander the best player this organization's had in 2 decades. Mm-hmm. 2 decades. And Iverson started, cutting his career off here. But essentially, it's close to 2 decades. It's pretty close to 2 decades. 2 decades. You want Iguodala and Drew back? That's what y'all want? God. You morons. Morons. Like, I bet you that team would have been really good if they stuck together. I've had some buddies say that to me. Like, dude, you coach basketball?
They were
you coach basketball? I told my one buddy, you should never be allowed to coach an ounce of basketball ever again, because I know you do. So now I question like why people allow you to do that, because I thought you were a basketball guy.
Should
But
never
when you
traded
tell me
Thaddeus Young, Tom. Should never traded Thaddeus Young.
Iggy, Drew, and Thaddeus, we could have won something.
Oh,
You would have won something.
Consistent 18.
Man, if Evan Turner would have really,
Balls.
if we would have given Evan Turner that next year, man, it
Oh,
could have gotten
God.
special.
Look, do these people not realize that with Embiid this year, granted, okay, we didn't cut a net down yet, but we had the third best record, not just in the Eastern Conference, but in the entire NBA. Know
Doesn't
what I mean?
matter, Noah. Doesn't fit an agenda. They're better without them. That's what the agenda is. Because of a small sample size of 17 games without them. 17? People want to go over that sample size? Because you lengthen that sample size out. That ain't going to look as good.
They're a playing game. They're a
Look at the
playing team.
teams they played too.
They're a playing team.
Look at the
without
teams
Joel.
they played.
Over a season. They're a playing team.
The best team that they played in games with, I swear to God, people look at halfway. If they want to go to like the narrative stuff, like, oh, here's the record, here's a number. Well, look, continue looking. Their best win
Without
Embiid.
Joel, we're lucky if we're a play-in team, Greg.
Their best win without Embiid was against freaking
Oh,
Sacramento.
without
Against
Joel,
Sacramento.
we might be a lottery team.
I was giving you're not wrong. I was just giving a little bit more credit to Harden, Tobias, and Maxey to keep us afloat a little bit.
Now, is there questions? Like, can you question and be tired of them getting hurt every year at the same time? Sure.
Yes.
Sure. I'm tired of it. Like, I'm gonna
We're
have
all
to sit
sick of
back
it. Yeah.
and really reflect on the direction I want to go organizationally if this doesn't go the way I want it to. Okay? But we'll get to that point. But I'm also not pounding the table to trade him either. Like, if I got to that point, I didn't get out of the second round again, and we want to have that conversation, I need my doors blown off. I don't need my doors blown off with picks. I need my doors blown off with young talent. Like, it ain't a restart. It's a retool that. Like, I need guys that are 22 that are polished and I can believe can turn into all-star caliber players, right? Like, it ain't just, oh, I'm going to deal for one guy who's like a young talent and 5 picks. No. We need some things. It need to be a lot. It'd be a haul. A guy just won an MVP. So that conversation can be had, right? Like, I'll allow that if they don't get past a certain point this year, right? Rightfully so. Okay. All right. But they act like they're better without him. Even if they did all that, got a haul back, I'll riddle everybody. They're not better without him. They'll never be better without him, maybe again.
Tom, somebody messaged me last Friday, and they're like, what if the Sixers trade Embiid for Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero? I responded, please block me. Just please block me.
No.
Like,
It's not enough. It's not enough.
Also, Bam Adebayo, like, oh, he's a star now? Like, Bam Adebayo? Like,
Yeah, Bam's a good player. Tyler Hero's a good player.
Yeah.
They're not stars. Like, if you gave me Mikal Bridges and somebody and 5 first, we'll have the conversation, right? Not that he's a star, but he has star abilities, maybe.
And he
Right.
plays. And he plays.
plays.
He doesn't
So,
miss games.
There's always ways that sell you as a fan that, hey, this might be the right decision moving forward, right? All that being said, you're still not better. You're still not better. And that's what people need to understand. So if you're sitting at home right now, I'm not doing no prayer services, but you better pray that they win this series. Because if they don't, you can't. You like the biggest Joel Embiid fan on this panel and in the city of Philadelphia is me, right? And I'm not like saying, "Oh, I found Joel" or "I like Joel more." I'm just saying Greg knows I've always defended. I've been the biggest defender of Joel Embiid that you'll probably see in this city. That you'll probably see. Always defending. No matter what, right? He could be sluggish. Tom, here comes Daddy. And you know what he ate last night? Like, he had a tummy ache. Like, always defending. Comes to a point that if I'm going to tell you you're allowed to have it, it's because it's a conversation that's fair. It's a fair conversation. It's about being fair when we talk about things. But, man, let's just hope that they get over this hump because I don't even want that. I don't want that conversation because we're never going to be better without them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more can go wrong with some up-and-coming guys right? Like, oh, hey, you're going to get two guys and pair him with Maxey. Could be exciting. Could be really good, right? And then you get 4 first-round picks. Could be really good. A lot of coulds. We are really good with him. I'm also tired of seeing. I'm also tired of the same ending too.
Here's the thing, too, right? I completely agree with everything you just said. If people are in the mode of like, hey, let's talk about shipping guys out of town. If you're going to go full throttle with the Embiid thing, you also have to have the conversation about, oh, we're going to give a max contract guy to somebody who's already, to your point earlier, Tom, old, and I don't know, like the James Harden thing, right? Like you can't have the conversation where, oh, it's just Embiid and be like, oh, let's give Harden a max contract. Like you can't have both.
Yeah, I'm not paying James like that.
No.
I know you're not either.
Oh, hell no. And you know that like that's like my guy, right? Like I fought for him before he even became a Sixer, but no. There's a time and place where it's just like, okay, we need to look elsewhere.
I don't hate Harden. I don't love Harden. I'm like always been in the middle on Harden. He's a great scorer, always has been. Never take that away. But he's got his own demons in his closet too. And these are two guys that I feel like are on the same page, right? I think they've been okay, and they're both in it for the right reasons right now. What those reasons are after this season is a different conversation, right? But those two guys are tied at the hip because neither one has gotten over their own hurdles and their own demons. Make sense? So they need each other right now, and they know they need each other. Yep. And I think that's the most important thing. The way Joel talks about James and his unselfishness and the things he sacrificed per se, right, for the benefit of the team, okay? That shows you that that's a guy that respects the other guy. The way Harden hugged him after the MVP shows you how he feels about him winning the MVP.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Right. So anybody that's going to look for things that like, oh, Harden did, Harden, being salty over it. Like, what are you talking about? You think guys are going to reach? Real quick, Ralph, you think guys are going to sabotage a freaking basketball game and their own personal stats because they want to show that they're better when the guy doesn't play? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Freaking morons. That's what clowns do. This dude's a top 50 player of all time. Wants to win a championship, I'm sure. I'm sure he does. Okay? I'm sure he does at this point of his career. And you think he's going to sabotage? Oh, my. All the things I've heard tonight.
I'll give you one example, too, Tom. Why would a guy like PJ Tucker, to where he's shown just in the last couple games, he cares about one thing, winning. He'll do a lot of things to win the game, right? If James
Harden take Harden's family out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like he almost fought Paul Reed on the freaking bench, right?
Yeah, which is
almost
awesome.
like a Rudy Gobert. Oh, it was amazing. It was almost like a Rudy Gobert.
The PJ Tucker. The PJ
Yes.
Tucker. Oh,
Yes.
dude, I love that. Love it.
And Tyrese Maxey even said in the presser, he was like, "I'm not going to tell you exactly what he said, but he basically said like, if you don't make the next 2 blocks, like we're going to have a conversation." Like we're
look at my look.
Oh yeah.
And an arm swing to Jayson Tatum later. I mean.
Wow, listen, Tatum's got to. I love how Tatum can just push around the refs, but nobody's talking about that, right? Like that won't warrant a suspension. But if Embiid looked at the ref or friggin' Harden looked at the ref, that's like a 7-game suspension.
Yeah, or Draymond Green, like even
Draymond's ridiculous. Dude.
If he says hi to the ref, he's suspended.
Yeah,
Tatum's friggin' pushing the refs.
Or Tim Duncan,
twice.
You laugh at the ref and you get ejected.
But like, if a guy like that, like PJ Tucker's not going to come over here, and I understand. Oh, well, Ryan, he came here for the $30 million over 3 years. I understand. But like, if James Harden had the reputation of sabotaging playoff games for his own benefit, he's like, we would hear something by now. Right?
He's just got other places to play, and he's played with James. So right, he has other places to play, and he's played with James before. So you know why PJ Tucker came here? Because he obviously respects James, and he knew he was coming to play with the best player in basketball. That's why he came here. Where he had other places he could go at this point of his career as a winner, right? Or somebody that would probably pay him a little bit extra money to be that like guy who helps the younger guys out, right?
The Heat offered him more money in the offseason.
And he came here.
Yeah.
People don't understand that. He came here. I gotta pay. But he came here.
Javon said Joel Embiid on returning today versus Friday. With what I have, I'm supposed to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. I'm not going to be 100% that whole time. No, again, like if anyone
playing with a near brace. Yeah. The guy had in 13 minutes. I'm gonna say it again. 13 minutes. He had 5 blocks, guys. Hasn't played basketball in 13 days. No cardio, no speed up, nothing. Yeah, you saw videos of him just taking standalone jump shots in the gym. That's different from game speed.
Moving up and down the court is a different thing than just standing there at the foul line.
Banging bodies all night with Al Horford and Robert Williams down low is different than just taking standalone jump shots in an empty gym after practice.
That's what we talked about before, Ralphie. The people who want to have these narratives see what they want to see.
But you knew these narratives were going to come after a loss like this. You know what I mean?
It happens after a loss against Detroit on freaking Tuesday in March.
Yeah.
Like this is just what happens. And the sad thing is, it's not only just Philadelphia people now, right? Like for a handful of years.
Oh, the national media is getting nasty with their things, man.
Well,
it's getting ridiculous.
That's the thing, right? And I'm not going to do like the disrespected thing because the guy just won MVP, right? So I'm going to pick and choose that. I'll wait a couple of days before I do like the disrespected thing. But in the past years, it would be Philadelphia fans because listen, we go crazy, right? It would be, oh my God, this team's better with just Simmons, right? That aged tremendously.
Yeah. Right.
You can't name a team in America or even friggin' China that's better with Ben Simmons only. And we would find all these ways to like crack the code on why like Joel Embiid's not the answer. And now it's like Philadelphia realizes it's like, okay, for the people who understand basketball, there's people that just never will. But now it's all national media people. It's like, oh, it's our turn, and we're just going to broadcast it louder, even though like now like it's the MVP, and like we're going to talk about, oh, the MVP is just a flopper and he stinks. It's like, oh, then why'd you vote for him then? Like, why'd you vote for him?
Yeah.
I also think
why you get all those first place votes and second place and third place votes. Then what was the point of that?
The reaction in this city to what we were just talking about, I think it's so tense, right? For a lot of things. I think this is why you see, oh, you win game one, we're going to sweep them. You lose game two. We went from sweeping them to now we're going to lose in 5, right? We completely flipped. I think it's because the conversation that we had, which is there is no obvious restructure of the team this summer, right? It's like, oh yeah, Tobias Harris, like, yeah, his money is now movable, but there is no master plan on like, oh, this is exactly what we're going to, it's like, no, this is the team. Like the team chemistry wise, this is the team when you talk about the combination of Harden and Embiid, you talk about Maxey's progression, Tobias playing really, really solid, I would say, throughout the entire playoffs, right? Even in a loss tonight. Tucker bringing that toughness and ready to fight the entire world when you're down 2 in game 1 of a second round series. DeAnthony Melton doing good things like your bench, and also like Doc Rivers is, I know people don't like hearing this, but Doc Rivers has been pretty good this year, right? Like he hasn't been the main issue or anything close to that. So it's like if you don't win this, especially in a year where Milwaukee's out, right? Like if you win this series, you've got New York, which we historically have matched up well against, and the Heat, which is like, yeah, Jimmy Butler's incredible, but Jimmy Butler's hurt right now, and Tyler Hero has a broken hand. And it's like, okay, you've got the combination of Max Strus and Gabe Vincent and a little bit of Caleb Martin. So it's like the path has been laid here. And if you once again come out with the same result, and that's second round loss, it's like, where do we go? It's going to be like a summer of hell because I don't know what the answer is, right? I don't know. Like, I would understand if people were like, oh, well, you got to bring back Harden for another year or two because the combination with Embiid and him were so strong. But it's like, well, he's probably not going to come back for 2 years, right? Like the pay cut year is this year. I don't know.
The pay cut was to take the less money and then build a team and go for a championship.
For this team, it was to be able to
this year.
Yeah.
There's no shot he does it again.
This was the culmination of everything that they've been building towards. The perfect gel with Embiid, the toughness, the bench,
and you heard
the progression.
Along with Harden too, where the whole, I took less money, to get where we are, and I want my flowers for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys do get kicked out in the second round again, it's like, well, I'm going to take another pay cut. You know what I mean? So I don't think that's going to happen. But like Tommy was saying with the whole second round thing, and obviously it sucks to say, but those questions are definitely going to pop up. If you guys do get bounced in the second round again, you know what I mean? The whole, what are we doing Embiid? Where does Harden go? Stuff like that. But right now, the focus is right now on game 3. Now you guys can win game 3 at home, which I fully expect you guys to win game 3 at home. I think that place is going to be rocking Friday night at the Wells Fargo Center. I totally do.
That's when he picks up the trophy.
Yeah, and I think Embiid's definitely going to be more back to himself, not health-wise, but just player-wise and stat-wise for that game on Friday night, to get his legs back underneath of him and get his cardio to where it needs to be for game 3 and moving forward.
we've said so many times in so many words that we were primed for a letdown game. It was coming, right? It was, if it wasn't tonight, it was certainly going to be. It was going to be game
everybody's
3.
got to realize you guys did your job, though, right?
Yeah.
You took one in Boston. You have home court advantage now. The ball is in your court, right? You win game 3.
You're absolutely right.
You win game 3 Friday night. It is a must-win now for Boston in game 4. A must-win.
Yep.
Again for Boston to win in Philly. And it's not like it's a must-win in game 2 on their home court. You got to play in Philly, must-win on game 4. Because if you go back down 3-1 back to Boston, then it's then
tough.
you're really
it's now it's even more of a fight than it already was, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
Like I think everyone said, everyone's probably had this series going 6 or 7 games, regardless of what side.
I had 6
regardless
and 7.
of what side you had it, right? You know, 6 or 7 games, but like Tommy said it earlier, take the emotion out of it, take the score out of it. Just you went to Boston, you split.
That was the job. That was the
all
job.
you had to do.
Yep.
Now, yes, like I know that's not realistic, right?
Because
we all watched what tonight was, right? But as the great Dom Toretto says, you know, win a race by an inch or a mile.
Oh, I thought it was family. I thought it was family.
I you know what? I did a best man speech, and that was my cheers. Was that family one from Fast 5, by the way?
Nice.
Yeah. But inch or a mile, winning's like all you matters is winning, right? Yep. You know what I mean? So you look at these 2 games, emotion out of it, score out of it. You won 1, you lost 1. That, Ralphie, you hit on the head. That is the plan. However it happens, like you could tell me Joel played game 1 and we won, and Joel played game 2 and we lost, right? Like it didn't matter with Tatum. Tatum drops 50 in game 1 and we lose or we win. We hold this 7 tonight. And we get run out the door. That doesn't make any sense.
It's literally ass backwards. It's ass backwards. That like game 1, if he's throwing up those numbers, you look at the box score, you're like, okay, the Sixers lost, but then you guys won. And you look at the box score tonight, and it's 7 points for Tatum, and they still won by 30.
Yeah.
It's just ass backwards at this point. But I think just Sixers fans in general, it's a long series, man. This was not going to end in 5. It wasn't going to be a sweep. I think everybody knew this was going to go at least 6 or 7 games. And I think everybody here at A2D knew it was going to be 6 or 7. Right?
Well, I mean, unless I don't want to name drop, but some people had 5 games for
the Celtics.
For the Celtics, yeah. I'm
glad that wasn't me. I know certain people
I made the damn thing.
I know certain people in the chat are trying to say I shouldn't talk because God forbid I picked the Celtics at 7, but no, at least I didn't do that.
Here is a list of 2 people, excluding a dog, that had the Celtics winning in less than 6 games.
Frank's exposed. I like this.
I know,
Go ahead.
and I apologize because that's not me, but you have to be.
We just lost by 30, Frank. Just become something you're not for right now.
All right,
just go in.
One Mr. Jake Friel had 5 games for the Celtics.
I mean, that's still on. It's still alive.
It's still possible.
Okay,
One
that's
Mr.
not.
Had a Boston sweep.
Okay, that's over. So that's aggressive. Because Brinkman saw Embiid out for game 1, and then the emotions took over. You know what I mean? So
Brinkman is a can of emotions.
Yeah, great guy.
That should be like a definition of a dictionary. Can of emotions is called a Brinkman.
That's aggressive. Obviously we won a game without Embiid, but you could have told me Embiid was missing the series, and I was still picking at least 5 games.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
Come on.
Yeah.
And somebody said earlier, I think it was Cal had said it earlier in the chat. This is the first game that we've lost in the playoffs.
It is.
It's the first game to where I feel like
straight wins. You had 5 straight wins before tonight.
So I think it's a combination of you lose by 30, felt like 100, and it's the first time we've lost a game in 2 weeks.
34. Who's counting?
Thank you, Noah. And we first time we've lost in 2 weeks, right? It's oh my God, what is this feeling? I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yes,
yeah. And our last true loss was a meaningless game against Atlanta. So
didn't we win that game?
We lost that game. Or no,
because that was the G League. That was the Jaden Springer game where he went off.
Oh yeah. It was the game against Miami. We beat it.
The
last game with the starters.
I was thinking through that fourth quarter that
Yeah,
Springer might just stink.
Yeah, I got those last two games mixed up. I was listening to it on my way back. Their last regular season loss was against them.
He's more of a defender, Greg. He's more of a defender.
Missed on that one. Not that it matters. He's
the least of my worries right now.
Yeah, he's got no role in this team, but it's like
right.
I just always laugh though, like when the team is that cap strapped and we just.
I keep forgetting we still have Springer on our team.
You can't, you got to hit one of these first round picks every once in a while. But he's got no role in this current team.
Yeah.
No, I gotta address this. Who said this? Bozos. I mean, who said this, Cal? That some bozos are saying Celtics in 5. I need names.
Frank
just rattled off. Jake Hill had Celtics in 5, and Brinkman had a sweet.
No. Now he's talking.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
He's talking about some
guys on
mean,
YouTube saying Celtics in 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I said from him, I want names, Cal. Not you guys. I don't need names from you guys. You guys didn't say it. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, You
Clear.
Yeah.
Clear as day, Tommy.
First thing I saw when I came back in was this. Again, he did it twice.
You saw red. He saw red. He's like, who's saying this?
I want to know what YouTubers are saying that, or if it's just people in chats. I'm curious if there's like YouTubers out there because I can smell a couple that I could see jumping off the wagon real fast.
Would be on brand.
So I hope not, but man, come on, guys, this is going a little bit here. You don't got at least going 6 now. I think you're insane.
Yeah, you're gonna lose games
after one game.
Yeah. Well, like I said before you came back, Tom, like this is the first time we've lost in 2 weeks. People don't know how to people don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like, they don't know how to operate. No, that's no excuse for going from after Monday night we're going to sweep them to now we're going to lose in 5.
I don't even think it's that as much as it's the way you won game 1. You get Joel back. You think you're going to go in and take care of business, but the opposite happens, and now it's are we better than one way? Are we? You know what I mean? Like you start asking yourself silly questions. And that's where we're at now, more than us losing because we're used to losing in this city. That's not a problem. We absolutely know what to always do with our hands when we lose. So I think it's more of the way we won 1 to the way we won 2. I mean, the way we lost 2 brings out the casual and some peeps, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Some fans are just casuals, right? They don't understand it as much, and they're just emotionally based, right? And they're not okay. I mean, I'm an emotional cat, but I always take a step back. You know what I mean? Like, I don't just come on here and just I get fired up, but I'm not just emotionally driven where I'm not making sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's at least it's emotion based off of X, Y, and Z.
It's not blind rage.
Yeah. It's not like the former loser EDP, right? It's not like my team sucks. They stink. You don't ever hear me you'll hear me say about a player sometimes, but I'm not gonna come on here just charged up like that over you lose a series, different conversation, right? Like it's all you know what I mean. It's
you pick your spots.
Yeah, but nobody does. The people just live off of man, we stink. We stink. We're not good.
It's a Philly Liverpool's thing. If they get blown out game 3, what's your reaction?
I mean we would be gracious. I mean, Philly Liverpool, then that's not good. All right. And we got Houston, we got a problem.
Red button.
Yeah, and Houston James is now officially your problem. You know what I mean? A couple things go that way. So let's hope that's not the case. Okay. I would venture to guess that this is a pretty tough team. We're tougher than we give them credit for. We got a tough coaching staff that gets on guys' asses here, is what we wanted, right? So I got to venture to guess that they got a response to this crap. Now, does that mean they win? I'm not there yet. We'll give predictions in a minute, but I got to think about it a little bit, right? But I think the response is they're not going to get blown out. I can't. No way.
Joel
No
gets the
way.
trophy on Friday. That place is gonna be rocking, dude.
Well, I think
I mean, I've seen stuff rocking and getting blown out in the past of Philly sports, so I don't go there, but yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say earlier too. It's that, and again, this was just me thinking about this before the game. I would have bet serious money that they were going to have a letdown game either tonight or on freaking Friday on the return of Embiid with the trophy. Like, that's just what this. If you come in, you steal game one. That's just what happens. That's what happens in sports. You have an all-time high, and then you fall down a little bit, or tonight a lot of bit. When you talk about game three, like, to me, I think the biggest. I don't want to say glimmer of hope, because again, you don't need like glimmers of hope when you're tied going back home, right? For people panicking at home. But like with the Tyrese Maxey thing, historically in his very short career and young career, when he has a bad game, especially from three, usually the next game he comes out and he has a huge game. So tonight would completely fill the role as like, okay, he had a bad game, right? He was sloppy. He didn't make it from three. Didn't really know where he was going at times. He became passive at the end of the second, early parts of the third. That's one where I'm like, okay, so far with Tyrese Maxey as a starter, when he has a performance like that, he follows it up with a quick 27 to 35. So maybe you get a little bit of a defensive performance from Embiid. You know, you get him into the 20s, maybe 22 to 26 points, and then maybe Maxey leads the team in scoring. You know, that's what I look at.
Yeah, I don't think Harden will be as bad. I hope not. You would hope he's not as bad. You hope that the home crowd gives him a little juice in his legs. Like, we're not going to be this bad. We're just not going to be this bad again, and that's why you had to play him a little bit for him to get his stamina back. Because I think Joel's a monster game on Friday. I can just look tonight at times, and he's still got lift. He's still got, he's still got burst. There was a couple times he took it to the bucket with some burst. Quick first step.
He didn't look limited at all. He might have been a touch slow, but like he was back and forth, going to go set screens, trying to break you down off the dribble. Like he looked as mobile as he has all year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
it had me thinking, like, oh, maybe I'll start wearing a knee brace because he looks fine. Like,
it almost looked like that he was hating the knee brace more than anything.
Yeah, it was an irritant to him. It was an irritant to him.
Well, it is. Like they actually say, which is funny, and that's why I'm surprised that they had him wear it. Like when I hurt my meniscus, and every person's different, right? So when I put on a brace, it bothered me and made it worse. It tightened it up. I didn't like it. I actually moved better. Doesn't mean I wasn't putting more harm on it, but I moved better without it in a weird way. I didn't move well either way, but I was moving better without it than with it on because I felt like it was just tight. And when I didn't wear it, I wasn't as tight. It was looser. So I get that side of it. I think that this was a warm up, a tune up for him, right? To get some stamina. Yeah, he's been down for like 5. They get some stamina back, right? And now he's got a little bit of stamina back.
Yep.
And I think he goes off in game 3. Like I think you get a vintage Joe. I think we get vintage Joe.
It's funny too because that's all the guys on Charles and Kenny and Shaq. They were all more worried about his conditioning than anything else, and they thought like his conditioning from being off for 2 weeks was going to be like the main factor in why he was going to struggle. And he looked really fine.
Yeah, he missed 2 threes. I mean, he didn't really struggle.
Yeah,
to that.
He was long on that one side jumper, but that's fine. Like you're not going to make every shot.
You got to get your timing back.
And then he came back, but he came back and hit that elbow, and you're like, all right, you're good. You know what I mean?
Harper just came back yesterday. He struck out 3 times. Yeah. So you understand there's a reason you want to get a guy up to speed again. Like the people understand this is a long series. I need to get him going. If he's available to play, then I got to rev it up, right? I got to start the car. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, everybody's a goddamn idiot.
Well, he said that. He said that after I was just about to read this. His quote was, "I was supposed to be out 4 to 6 weeks. I'm not going to be 100%. I'm not going to be fully healed. I wasn't as aggressive. I probably would have been the same and had the same result if I had come back on Friday. Rusty, not myself. We got this out of the way. This is a step to getting back to being myself." They had to get over this. Doc said in the first quarter with the sideline interview. He's like, no matter where he was coming back, this was going to happen.
Yeah.
We weren't sitting in 4 weeks.
No,
we weren't sitting in 4 weeks.
No shot.
So, there's a rhythm. There's a timing. There's like that long jumper. There's just the feel of the court. again a little bit, right? Like it's just a little bit. And you say, well, Tom, these guys played the game like Harper, he played the game his whole life. Or Joe Embiid plays it, he's 15. Like at this level, there is a rhythm, there's an endurance, there's a timing, there's all kinds of factors that you need to get going a little bit, right? To get back to yourself. And that's why I think he has a monster game in game 3. I think now he just got the spider webs out, right? And he gets back to himself, right? Like Harper's going to take time. Like that's why I like what people like. You assume you plug Harper back in the lineup and you're just going to mash. Dude, it takes time, man. I don't care how much live minor league bullshit he saw.
And you know why he did well today? Because he was facing a minor leaguer.
Yeah.
He was facing a guy making his first start, which is what he would face at a rehab assignment.
Exactly. That's why, like, I think the Phillies were wrong, and we'll get into Phillies in a little bit, but Phillies were wrong for even bringing him back yesterday. Like, are you going to bring him back against a great left-hander or a damn good left-hander like that who's tough on lefties? Like, you set up a guy to fail? Like, hey, Bryce, we'll set you up to fail today. 0-3. Now, come on. I could do you without 0-3 with I mean, the 3 strikeouts. You're better than that, but you know what I mean.
Tom, I swear to God, they were expecting Harp, and now especially Embiid tonight. Some people were expecting it to be like Major League 2. Rick Vaughn comes out of the friggin' bullpen in the end of the game with friggin' the mohawk in the jacket and shutting down Jack.
Save the day.
It's like it's not a movie. It's not a freaking movie.
No, that guy starts Monday. You know what I mean? Wild Thing starts Monday. All right.
There you go. See, I was hoping you were there. There you go.
Nice little plug.
Nice segue into a plug.
Yeah, that's why. I was,
Hey, Detroit Don, I'm doing just fine.
Oh my God, he is alive.
Are you doing just
Didn't look
fine?
like it.
Are you doing just fine? You sure?
You had a nice
Well,
ceiling.
apparently, Don from Detroit there was concerned.
Well, he's always concerned. He's a Detroit fan. So he's always a little concerned as a Detroit guy.
I think in Detroit they have a lot of concerns of their own.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They definitely do. And the cheap plug, here's the thing with Mitch Williams and myself every Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern.
It's awesome.
Right here, HUD Radio. He's got a lot to say already. Like just in a meeting this morning, a lot to get off his chest. A lot. It's got some interesting things that I'll say for the Phillies that I'll touch on because we're gonna have obviously different people listening at 12 o'clock at night that we're gonna have at 1 p.m. Eastern. So I'll save some of those things and give them to our listeners now. But he's got a lot. He's got a lot of he's opinionated, which is great.
That's awesome.
Is Joe Carter gonna be a future guest on the show?
I'm sure this was going to be asked 1,000 times.
Get it all out now.
Get the jokes out of the way.
Especially by the guy living in the 90s. You know what I mean?
Noah's got his second wind. Had his cat nap.
That
Still
should be
goes
the
to see
friggin'
watching
intro
Ron
video, Tom,
run
for
down
your
the
show.
field. There goes Rondé.
Yeah, can we give her?
Yeah, Barber's still running.
Oh, yeah. Can we do our predictions for Game 3?
That's all right, Mitchie Pooh. We love you, buddy.
My prediction for Game 3: Sixers win by 10. Game 3.
Jesus God. Okay, Frank, we'll circle the board that way.
All right. I'm gonna go Sixers get the win. Oh, geez. I'm gonna go Sixers win.
Hold on, real quick. I might have to change mine. Let me look at the line real quick.
Yeah, what is the line?
1.5. Boston.
It's
1.5 Boston.
I think so. Yeah.
Give me Sixers win by 5. And the Vegas Golden Knights score again.
Yeah, on FanDuel, it's 1.5 Boston right now.
1.5. Then give me Sixers by 5.
Joe Carter.
Here you go for everybody
There you go.
out there who wants to run Embiid out of town. Give me an Embiid game winner at the buzzer.
Oh, Jesus.
God,
God.
We lost.
No,
We lost.
It's almost like his prediction of the Jets Eagles. There's going to be no touchdowns. Jake Elliott, game winning field goal.
Or Penn State
Oh,
now
man.
Indiana by 40.
Well,
Cha-ching on the over right there. Let's go. Celtics by 35 after that one. No, Sixers by 4.
Tom, how do you want me to go about this? We talked about it on Monday. I'm sacrificing my predictions for this series. Want me to pick a loss again?
Well, I mean, yeah. Before you came in, you had him losing the series.
I did.
So I think all the guys had him losing. You know, see some shit.
I have the receipt.
I see some shifting going on here in the on the panel.
There's no shift in here.
No, where's the shift? Where's the shift?
There's some guys who have shifted already.
MLB already outlawed that.
There's already a few guys that had Celtics winning the series that have gone.
Greg, did you have Celtics?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had 6. I'm sorry, Greg.
I had him 7. I had him 7. No, I'm on track.
No, me and Ralph had Sixers.
Yep, Sixers.
Yeah,
7.
I too also had the Sixers and
That's all you did.
All right, so Greg, we're on this side. Okay, Celtics and 7.
I think it's going to be back and forth.
Yeah. I'm not taking shots. I'm not taking shots.
I know you're not.
I wasn't taking shots at anybody. I was just saying, like, hey, if you didn't have them, I think you gotta stay there for right now. You know what I mean?
I'll especially stay there because everyone picked Sixers so far. So I'll go defensive battle again. We lose by 5.
Somebody say shots. Sorry. I'm ready to do a few shots.
We are.
I don't know where you're going with that. I'm like, what?
I'll take Sixers winning in 3. Winning by 3. Sixers win by 3. Embiid has 35. Can't play with them. You know what I mean?
Need the especially if Maxey and Embiid.
I do think they're splitting at home though. I will go on. I will say that. So if they lose game 3, you can book game 4. Like that, it's coming out of this 2-2. This is coming out of this 2-2. Yep. All right, the case of your opinions don't even matter tonight. Then we're just gonna keep moving on. It's not even worth a read. I'm not kidding. I'm going to bed in about 8 minutes, so I don't even care. Got enough. I got more. We got more stuff this week. Yeah, I mean, I'm good.
If they're gonna win on Friday, or I would say any of these games, you need the facilitator Harden to come back. Right? He went from 6 assists to 4 assists. Right? Like if Maxey's got it going, which I expect he will. Embiid's Embiid. You need him to be in double digits. I'm not asking for 17 assists, even though we would appreciate it. But come on,
need Harden to have a freaking pulse here, please.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't care about the assists as long as you're not 2-14. I mean, you can have 6 assists if you're giving me 20.
Yeah.
If you're giving me 22, 6, and 6, I'm not going to say a lot.
I'll go to bed with a smile on my face.
Yeah, I don't know about a smile unless I'm winning, but at least you give me a fighter's chance that way, right? You're giving me a fighter's chance if you're between 20 and 25. And if you're under that, if you're like 18 for a night or 17, I need you to be maybe close to being a triple-double. Like I need you to have 10, 12 assists.
Need you to sniff 10 assists.
It's all based on your scoring production on how many assists I need from you, right? Like if you're in the 20s, then I can deal with 6 or 7 assists. So it's all based upon that. If you're not scoring a lot, and you got 15, then you better have 12 or 13 assists because now you're making up for your lack of scoring.
The last thing before we go to Phillies, Tom, real quick, you should be. I'm envious that you didn't see the first half because, and I'll just say it with 2 words: TNT drone, and I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, I listened and saw bits and pieces because it was just playing on my phone, but I didn't. I didn't sit there and watch the whole thing.
I didn't pay attention that there was a drone.
So they were cut to the drone.
The drone looked like 2005 Verizon Razor footage right off the freaking camera roll.
Really?
And then when they don't have it there, it would be in the main shot. It would just be there. Like Al Horford would have the ball at the bottom of the screen, and I can't see Al Horford because I got a thing going like this.
And you just saw around?
It was in the shot.
Yeah, it was flying around.
Up and down the court the whole game.
I don't know how the TNT producer, and this shows like the TNT producer just didn't know what he was doing tonight because clearly they wanted it there. If I'm any other producer, I'm like, get the freaking robot out of my shot. Get it out of my shot.
Yeah, I don't need to show off the drone. People now know it's here. Yeah, I mean, they saw the footage of it.
You can hear the fucking buzzing.
Imagine
you can hear that.
I thought something went wrong with the. I didn't realize it was a drone. I just thought just something went wrong with the feed. I'm like, why am I back to a tube TV? Like, what happened to my TV?
Am I on a box TV or a flat screen?
Standard definition.
Where are the rabbit ears?
Like I was watching The Last Dance, and it was like footage of the '96 freaking NBA Finals. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know Jordan was playing.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah,
We're
thank
waiting for
God.
Dennis Rodman to come out.
Why
I
does
think I
that
had to deal with
broadcast
that.
say this broadcast is brought to you in living color by NBC?
Oh, and if I have to hear Reggie Miller get Paul Reed and freaking DeAnthony Melton confused one more damn time, I'm gonna lose my freaking mind. Like, stop.
Oh, dude, he was so
Stop.
bad tonight, dude.
Stop. Kevin Harlan, I like you, Kevin Harlan. Like, please don't make me dislike you, especially on nights where we lose by 30. Please.
Yeah. No, KZ, yeah, I can only tolerate it if the wins. I'm just not going to now we're going to come slander the coach tonight. You know what I mean? I get it. Slander away after game 3. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I'll say, like, or game 4. You come out of here 3-1, slander away. All right? And you can start slandering away. But that being said, that's also how curse ends too, right? 3-1, it's over. Doc's used to blowing him. Now he wins one, right?
Sometimes his former team that he
won. You can't write the script better
City of
sometimes.
Boston's already lost a 3-1 lead this year.
Yeah. There's a lot of factors, Greg. Boston got over their curse baseball-wise. 3-0, 3-1.
3-1.
Right. Here we go.
And then you beat Jimmy Butler in the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. So it's perfect.
Yeah, hopefully his ankle ain't good by then either. So that conversation, our predictions, was brought to you by Gleason's Bar, located 6700 Mill Creek Avenue in Levittown, PA. Go fall asleep with Noah right at the bar, baby, and use promo code A2D for 10% off.
Pour me another lager.
Yep. Use promo code A2D for 10% off your order whenever you dine in, take out, or online. Gleason's Bar and Steaks.com is where you can find them. Right in Levittown, PA, Gleason's Bar. Use promo code A2D. Get yourself a little
Any
discount.
door works in that place. You can enter from it.
Yeah. Tell yourself that, Ralph.
A lot of doors.
Yes.
It's the wrong door, guys. It's one freaking building.
It's too funny. Now we get the segue into even better talk. After
back-to-back blowouts. Awesome. Great.
Yeah, back-to-back blowouts, and then you blow one today. And in a game you gotta go take, right? You just gotta avoid the sweep. And you come out, you're up early, you're feeling good, and like when you're losing, it's usually there's always somebody new, right? Somebody new steps up and helps deliver this one, and today's Alvarado, right? So, there's always somebody that sort of got their hand in it, right? That's responsible for it in a way.
Yeah, he was definitely off, but he's been so lights out that you're going to have those outings, right?
Well, I'm not saying that. I said when you're losing. You're losing and you're on a losing streak, it's a new guy nightly, and it even could be your best guys. They're going to help you find a way to lose.
Yep. Yeah. No, absolutely. And he was just a touch off, but still ended up making a pitch that should have gotten us out of the inning, and it went by just. I mean, knee-high line drives just got to be caught. You're a major leaguer. It's got to be caught.
We need Ranger Suarez to come back now and be healthy for a long time.
Yep.
A long time.
Yes, sir. I mean, shit, we gave up, 36 runs out in L.A. the past 3 nights? I mean, what the fuck?
Right.
That's terrible, man.
13-1, 13-4, and then 10-6. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, 36 fucking runs.
That's correct. No, very good.
That's not going to get it done.
No, it's not. No, it's it happens throughout a season, right? But it's got to stop happening.
Oh, I hear you, and it's only May, but fellas, it's getting late early.
I'm not in the early game anymore. Okay,
you're 20% on your season.
What I'm saying to you is like these kind of things can happen, but they can't continue to happen. That's the difference, right? Like you're going to have your ups and downs through a season, right? But you got to end them, right? They can't continue. They can't carry the last thing you want to do here is for these to carry over to your next series, right? And the Phillies actually, obviously, they get a day off tomorrow, and then back at it Friday, and the Red Sox come to town who've been
Boston, and then who?
Boston.
Boston
and
is
they're
this
home for
weekend. Yeah, it's Boston this
and then
weekend.
Blue Jays. So you get
Blue
Boston
Jays,
Blue
that's
Jays coming to town. So
Two
AL
teams.
East.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus
two good teams.
Christ.
two good teams. So but you're a good team. You're
Right.
supposed to be a good team. You're supposed to be a good team.
Yeah.
You were playing good
How am I
baseball.
reading?
You were playing really good baseball up until
Thank you.
that last series. This last series. So, you come home and you try to respond from it.
One of the few bright sides, not of this season, obviously, but looking at it, we really talked about, not just for the series, but for the entire season. Castellanos had to really bounce back. He's been awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Stott, making that jump again, having a key hit, in the ninth, obviously didn't amount to anything because of what happens shortly after that. But that's one thing to lean on, right? It's that, okay, there's a handful of guys that were like, okay, we either need a little bit step ups or, bounce backs, and you've gotten that, right? My question to you guys, especially, you, Tom, and you, Greg, do you buy into this trade? Like, I feel like everyone in Philly's Twitter is like, oh, Trey Turner. Oh, not good. Not good. Like, what's your thoughts on Trey Turner right now? Like, I know he's a home run tonight, which is like perfect for all those people that are like panicking. Like people panicking about like, oh, this is not good. He's done absolutely nothing. People need to be talking about this.
Well, I don't think people realize and they don't follow enough because, again, we go back to casuals that he's always had slow starts in April his whole career. He's always got his numbers year in, year out. I mean, some guys are just so consistent that they're going to get there, right? And he's the definition of that, right? It's different than Nick, right? Where like Nick's hard to have. Like Nick was always a good hitter in Detroit, but Nick like really broke out with Cincinnati.
Yep.
Trey's always been good, like, and not that Nick hasn't, but like Trey's always been good, right? And the billing was supposed to be good, right? And he lived up to all that. So I don't even get caught. This is baseball. I don't even get caught up into this crap like this. Like at this point, like guys go through their ups and downs. He couldn't get out in the World Baseball Classic, so now he stinks. So now he stinks.
That's exactly
like,
that's where the casuals come in because
there's
see
ebb and flow.
Yes.
There's ebb and flow. This isn't a football game.
Yeah,
like it isn't one game. Like it's not one game a week. This is 6 games a week, 7 games a week. Like it's a lot of games. It's a marathon. It's basketball on steroids. It's basketball on steroids. It's double the amount of games, right? You're talking about 162 games. So you think guys gonna hit for 162? Then if he hits for 162 like that, right? Like he did in the World Baseball Classic, he's hitting like 120 home runs. Like stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
And the other thing too, when we were so bad as a team early on, like through the first 10 games, he was on base or had it hit in every game. You know what I mean? Him and Stott for a while were, 10, 12 game hit streak to both of them. It's just they weren't the big hits, right? It was a microcosm of the Phillies' first 10, 15 games. Is they were just getting those singles, and it wasn't very big, impactful doubles and homers, right? So yes, he is absolutely struggled as of late, but I have zero issues with what he's going to be. I think moving him to 2-hole was probably the right move. I like Stott there. I'm not sure. Because I thought Stott was giving you good at bats there to lead off. You know what I mean? And
why are you moving to 5th?
And now you move in the 5th, and I think Schwarber's power plays better 5th. Like I know Stott got the job done today, right? But it's not, how much better do you feel though with a Schwarber in that spot to drive a baseball as opposed to Stott just getting a hit, right? You know what I mean?
But that's all like right. I mean, that's like this. You've run a lot of lineups up. You can Monday morning quarterback that all you want, right? At the end of the day, they look at stuff maybe a little bit differently, right? They play for the 1-0. They believe in, and obviously that didn't play well today. But like they believe, and the numbers speak for around baseball too. Like teams that go up 1-0, their winning percentage is a lot higher, right? So whatever. That they can have. They also look at it this way too, which Trey can do, which Bryson isn't there yet, even though he's had a great start, right? They look for protection too, not only for your middle guys. They look for protection for your bottom guys. So they look when that lineup's about to roll over.
Yeah.
Right now, guys like Marsh, Sosa, right? They get fastballs. That's the difference because you can't pitch around them because Schwarber's looming. A guy who hit 40-plus home runs is looming. So there's a lot of ways to look at it. And at the end of the day, why I don't get too caught up with it, even though I'm an old school guy, I would like my leadoff hitter to do some different things, right? But you can do different things throughout your whole lineup, right? It's not missionary. Like my leadoff hitter's got to be able to run, right?
Sure.
It's not like that. So I look at like all the lineups I've written in my day. I have my best hitter hit first. Different in a travel ball world than a pro world. And even when we got to 12, where it was like pro ball, right? And I say pro ball because there's a lot of home runs, right? There's a lot more doubles, like those things, right? At 12U.
Yep.
So when I look at 12U, it's like the steroid era in a way, right? But I look at it for that same aspect. Like I would do my lineup base like that. Like I would want my first guy to get me up 1-0, right? To set a tone. Okay. So you'll deal with somebody extra. And then throughout your lineup, you like, okay, a guy who can run, a guy who handles well.
Old
Like
Doofus Herrera checking in.
Like Greg, my 14U lineup per se was always like what I thought my best hitter was.
Sure.
Then what I thought my best guy who handles the bat is, who can run bases. So you can look at it. You can break those things up. It doesn't have to be like Turner leads off or Stott leads off. Even though he's hot, I get it. But, he's a guy who's batted everywhere. So I don't think that stuff like really affects him in those ways.
No, I hear you there.
Who's through 32 games, who's your most disappointing player?
Tell you what, Walker.
Yeah, it's probably got to be the leader in the clubhouse. Kimbrel at times.
Yeah, Walker would be a good one.
It's Walker because our lineups hit, right? So it's like you can't even you as much as we haven't hit with runners in scoring position that you hope comes, right? But we've hit. So we're not losing because we're not hitting. We're losing because some guys are just, like I said last night, I don't have a Facebook to post it on, but on Twitter is like the last two guys that couldn't miss a barrel. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like playing MLB to show one easy. Like that's not okay.
If I asked you this last week, would you have said Real Muto?
Oh, I'll say Real Muto this time of year all the time. No, I mean this is the same old story with him this time of year. I mean it's
he's had a better stretch recently.
Yeah,
but
Greg poo-pooing it because he would lick his grundle. You know what I mean? But because
he hasn't been good. He hasn't been good.
No, guys.
Same thing as last year.
I know, and that's what I said. Like
But
I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to tell him he stinks this year. I'll let it play out.
I was like, I hope the trade call doesn't come out this year because he did catch a lot. He did catch a lot last year.
He did, but
yeah.
But you're also allowed a day off too if you need it.
Sure.
So you also don't have to be Iron Man.
Well, I don't think through the playoffs. Yeah, I don't think we're playing through the playoffs.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying regular season. That's why you can load manage a catcher a little bit at times too. So I'm not here to help these guys with analytics shit. But I mean, he's awesome. But now his track record shows me he's a little late starter too. So I'm okay with that if you tread in water, right? Like all these guys who are late guys, it's okay. It's okay. But now you saw when you were pitching well, you were winning baseball games. Mm-hmm. The second you stop pitching well, the second you get your ass swept.
Yep.
Even though today wasn't good enough and leads into one of Mitch's thoughts. And I think you guys are going to be I don't know if you're going to be wowed by it. I don't know. But what he thinks, and I'll let him go deeper into it, even though I know exactly what he's saying. What he says is he thinks an injury's coming. He thinks Tommy John's coming in so many words.
Is it the drop in velocity or is it the drop in location?
With Nola?
Yeah.
Elbow.
Because he drops it.
Elbows dropped. He's more underneath pitches. And he also, which got him in some hot water through the years, he's also done a pretty good job of calling this. I mean, Rich Doobie and Roy Halladay were not happy in 2013 when Mitch on the MLB Network showed split graphics and we're pretty much saying that this guy's going to go and get any Tommy John with Roy Halladay. People didn't want to hear it. Next thing that happened, Roy had a torn UCL. Yeah. So, I mean, like 2 weeks later, where Doobie pretty much told Mitch, like, stay in your lane, right? Stay in your lane. And a lot of guys told him to stay in his lane, and he nailed it. So, credit where credit's due. But he also talked about Harper and how Harper throws and the elbow, right? And his throwing mechanics. And we're gonna have a great guy on throughout the portion of that show on Mondays, and that's Tom House. And anybody, Tom House really mechanics, really understands those types of things. And we're gonna go into deeper conversations with those types of things. I see at the younger level, like I'll yell at 10-year-olds that want to get cute and be like, knock it off. Yeah. Throw the wiffle ball, have fun throwing the wiffle ball and a tennis ball like that. Don't throw the baseball like that. A wiffle ball, a tennis ball, you can get away with it. It's not as heavy. It doesn't have the weight to it that a baseball does that puts the strain on.
Corey Seidman put out today during the game. He said the velocity is still down for Nola, threw mostly 90, 91 today. He hit 94 miles an hour 187 times last season, only 3 times so far this season.
Yeah, I think it's a combo. I mean, the guy's been adorable.
That's a telltale sign right there.
Well, this is where we got to be fair to it too, right? Like, as much as I hear what Mitch is saying, this guy's been an adorable cat, just like Roy, though. Just like Roy, he's been an adorable doggy, but he also has a lot of wear and tear last year. Yeah. That's a long year.
Almost a cold 2009, right?
Yeah. Like so is it a combo? Is it could it turn into a UCL? Sure. Right. Sure. Is it
might be overcompensating in one way?
Yep. Is it fatigue? Is it fatigue and that's causing the drop because the tiredness? Yep. Easily could. So somebody's got to get in his ear to clean it up because it could easily lead to it sooner rather than later. We don't want that. That being said, hence maybe why the Phillies said, hold on a second. Maybe they think maybe something could come or you never know. You never know why.
Contract.
You never know why they didn't give it to him right away.
Yep. Yeah, and Dombrowski's not somebody that's going to be like, who's our former GM? I'm blanking on his name.
Matt Klintak?
Klintak. Like, where Klintak's is going to throw he'll extend anybody because it's like a reassurance, like, oh, he's good enough for an extension. Like, he would have extended him freaking 9 months ago mid-season.
Yeah, he's laying in a thong.
Yeah.
He's laying in a thong and a thong on a beach somewhere, Klintak.
Him and freaking McPhail, arm in arm.
Yeah, arm in arm.
Yeah. Dombrowski's going to look into things. He's like, hold on. We don't need to pay you right now. Let's look at some things really quick.
Yeah, and maybe that's not even their thought. Like maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But there's where there's smoke, there's usually a little bit of fire. And in this case, like, I'm going to lean towards Mitch on this, and I'm going to lean towards, not saying Tom House is saying this, right? But like, I'm going to lean to those guys' thought processes on that a little bit more, especially if you've hit a couple or a lot of them. People can say whatever they want about Mitch, right? But he's a baseball lifer. And he's a guy who was tremendous on the MLB Network. Tremendous.
He really was.
So, I mean, I don't care. He's like I'm past Joe Carter, right? Like, I'm over those demons in 2008, unlike Noah. Like, I'm past that. Those demons ended. They went away when I finally cut my air quote baseball nets down, right? So I'm excited to have him on. I'm excited to have Tom House on, soon as well, because I'm interested.
House works with everybody.
Because I got to get him some split screens of Nola like elbow drop, Nola underneath, and then Nola with his regular release point. Even though he's a 3/4 cat. Right, it's a difference from you being here, right, and you being a little bit here. That's the difference of that. If that elbow drops on that 3/4, it's even more. You're almost underneath the baseball a little bit. It's a little bit, and here you go. You throw frisbee curveballs too.
That's why, and to your point, is why everything's elevated.
Yep.
Just so we're on the same page, the same Tom House that worked with Jalen Hurts before his MVP season, correct?
Correct.
Also Tom Brady.
Also Matt Ryan. before
Couple
his
guys.
MVP season.
Couple guys. Couple
That's what I
guys.
said. Tom House has
Been around.
Been around. Knows his
Yeah, I'd
people.
say he knows
Yeah.
what he's doing.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk to him about getting Cass in his arms by 5. You know what I mean? Like, Tommy, you got a little time to lose that? This is what I'm trying to get him right. You know what I mean? Clean him up.
How do we do this ambidextrous pitcher?
Yeah, he does throw both hands.
Is it
pretty
too
well,
late?
though.
Is it too late?
He does throw both hands pretty well, though. I gotta
Does
give him
he?
some credit. Yeah, he does.
Whoa.
He'll spin it. He'll spin it with both. I actually. And then like the other day, you guys laugh at this real quick. Like 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was like 10 days ago. I was throwing. We were outside. I was throwing the football up and catching it myself. Right, just like a bunch of times. Right in between us, like me throwing it 100 feet and him loving it because the dog's flying after it. Right.
Yeah.
So the next day, he starts throwing things up and catching them.
Oh,
I knew it was a good.
go.
I knew it
Proud
was-
dad moment, you know.
I knew it was
Proud
a good sign when we all came over for the Eagles-Giants game back in the playoffs, and this was obviously months ago. Walked through the door and he throws me his blanket, but it was with his left hand. Velocity was pretty up on that blanket. The velocity was up.
It was.
I was thinking he was a lefty, so now I'm thinking, oh, he could be
No, we
both. Could be both.
I don't really want him to be a lefty. You know, I prefer you be dominant, right? And then we can, you know, if the left's cool, then we'll dabble with it. But like, I prefer you just to be a righty. Like, if you want to play this,
let's be real. Lefty's a little weird.
a little weird. I don't got time for it.
I don't really want a weird kid.
Yeah. So, you know, and that
Lefty's a
being
little weird.
and that being said, I've been surrounded by some great lefties coaching wise that I love.
Yeah.
So there's the weird ones who can't play. I feel like but the ones who can't play are never, you know, they're not
Hey,
weird.
lefties out of the bullpen still get paid too.
I hear you. A lot sitting around for dad. You know what I mean? Sitting around. But
He's got the hockey. He's got the hockey thing as a backup plan too, Tom. Right?
he's got Russian in him.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
you know, his mom's anti-hockey. So like, out of all the sports, she's like, no, I hate hockey. And I said, I hear you, but
It's in
maybe
your blood.
maybe he's like baby Ovechkin, you know? Like, I don't
Be
know.
anti-basketball. It only causes us pain. Don't do the hockey.
Yeah, she's actually not anti-basketball.
Okay.
She's not anti like the sports we like. She's
might-
anti like hockey I love, but like she like, you know, I don't watch it as much because the Flyers stink. But when they're competitive, I do. But I understand her disdain for it.
Depending on what happens this weekend, I might be anti-basketball. Depending on what happened this weekend, if you know what I'm saying. If you
They're
pick up
getting
what I'm
me
putting down.
closer. They're getting me closer.
Yeah, I might be anti-basketball.
But yeah, she don't run the everydays when it comes to being an athlete here. Right. Let me clear it up for her. No.
Oh no!
Really sensational. I'll give her that love. Really sensational tennis player. After that, stay in your lane. You know what I mean? Like, just stay in your lane. Let daddy come in here. Let the big dog eat. We're going to decide these things. Right?
You
know?
there's famous Russian tennis players, right?
Just throw the laundry in the water. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was going to Google. I'm like, wait,
I'm like Maria Sharapova, Anna Kournikova.
Yeah, there's a few.
there you go.
There's a few.
Yeah.
All
She's
right.
pretty good. She's pretty good.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, say if he plays tennis, then cool, you can take over the everyday operations. Right? You know, the day to day. You know,
Nothing
what
wrong
if,
with tennis.
no, nothing at all. I got no
Nothing
problem with
wrong
tennis.
with tennis.
I just don't know it
good
like she
friends
does.
with a pretty, I would say well-known tennis coach, but one of my friends used to coach tennis over at Cabrini, and now he's like doing his own tennis services and all that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
No, it is.
It's very nice.
No, it is. I mean, like, tennis is big. I just don't know enough to teach him. Right. So the other sports, hockey, even, you know, I played enough of it. Right. You know how to teach it. Right. Anything you play, basketball, football, baseball. I mean, obviously baseball. You don't listen to me baseball. I'll tell them to go buy a club. You know, go sleep at, go sleep at Uncle Sweeps' house. All right.
You're not gonna listen to me. Go 3 doors. Go 2 doors down. Uncle Sleeps.
Yeah, not doing this with you. All right. This is what I do on an everyday. So the other ones you want to ignore me on, be my guest.
Did he touch the golf clubs yet, Tom?
No, he's not yet.
All right.
He's not
A
got
little
the.
too young. A little too young.
He doesn't even like even with the bat. Like I'll get a swing out of him and then it's done. So that shit just takes up space. You know what I mean? Like it is space take up. So you just, some stuff we haven't even gotten to him with them yet. But we'll get the golf clubs are coming soon. I think by the time he's like 2.5, 3, you start seeing the like them not having ADHD with everything they play with.
Yeah.
Right. He's got a cycle too. He's funny. He's got like a cycle of things throughout the day. Like he'll get into.
Is he still doing
He's
the
got a
circle around
checklist,
the?
right?
Is he still doing the circle? Because I know he used to post the stuff on Facebook.
Oh, he still circles. He's a circle.
He's working on his cardio. That's all. He's working on his cardio right now. That's the standard. Okay.
He likes to sprint it.
Okay. There you go. Can't play the infield.
Yeah, if you're a lefty, play first base.
Already thinking ahead. Very good.
So Phillies, they come home for what, a 6-game homestand?
Yeah, 3 against Boston and 3 against Toronto.
Anything after that at home, or is that it?
And I'll be happy if they go 3-3 through that stretch. Shit.
I think you got to come out of that better than 3-3, right?
I would love to say yes, but realistically, right
3
now,
against the Red Sox, 3 against the Red Sox, 2 against the Blue Jays. So it's a 5-game homestand, and then on the road against Colorado, and then the West Coast trip. So it's Colorado, then San Francisco.
Why did they not play in San Francisco when they were just out on the West Coast?
Yeah,
no idea. Yep. Rockies away 3 at Colorado for 3, at San Francisco for 3, and then come back home against the Cubs and the Diamondbacks.
well, the schedule's just going to be weirder and weirder with more of the infusion of interleague play. I mean, it's
end of the month will be big though.
Yeah, you got the Braves at the end of the month.
You got Braves and Mets.
Yep.
You have 4 versus the Braves, and then you have 3 versus the Mets, but 2 of them are at the end of the May. The first one's the first day in July 1st. So you got that to look forward to.
In theory, there is no more interleague play though, because you just play. Everyone plays everybody.
Yeah.
And with the universal DH, it's not like there's any different rules anymore.
Yeah, it's just all the same now.
Oh yeah, Dynasty. Ryan, he would go to Ryan for Goff for sure. Yes, let's confirm that. Not getting the help here, buddy. Sorry. Sorry, no clue.
Vegas scored again, 6-4.
Wow.
This is Eichel versus McDavid.
We can help you. We can help you putt though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Which most good golfers have a problem with, which is hysterical, right?
Yeah, that's the biggest difference between guys that are shooting in the high 60s and on tour. It's putting. That's the
isn't it crazy though? Like a guy can drive a ball like 300, no problem, 280, whatever, and then it's like their short game stinks, and you're like, how?
They're long drive champions, but then they turn into, no disrespect, but Greg from 50 yards in.
100%.
Yeah. Greg from 50 yards in.
That's why we usually try not to leave shots 50 yards or in.
Yeah, don't want to mention Greg totally led to this sweep these past 3 days. He led to the sweep. By the way,
Wilson agreed with me. Not that that's any better.
Yeah, on Sunday, I walked away for a minute. I had a point on my phone, and Greg's like, "Well, good time to get the Dodgers." And I'm like, I think the Dodgers won. I think the Dodgers won 3 in a row, and they're 7-3 in the last 10. I'm like, let me check on that. And I look it up. I'm like, oh my God, this guy. I'm like, this guy. I know they're missing some guys. I think this guy wants to do this now. This is gonna be a bad series. It's gonna be a bad catch him at a great time.
Did that have any? Did your prediction have anything to do with the projected return of Harper, Greg?
No.
No.
They were just playing good baseball. They up until the series, they were pitching well, and
yeah.
I just thought the Dodgers
the series
juggernauts like they have been until they scored 36 runs in 3 games against us.
Yeah.
Winning the series against the defending champs, didn't look like we were on a charter right to a sweep, right? Like it didn't feel like it.
No, you felt like, and my dad even said it. He's like, man, that's tough. Like you got it. You fly from Houston. You got to go from Houston to LA, play that next night. It's late. It's, you're not adjusted yet. You get that like smack down a little bit.
Yep.
He's like, night, dude. He's like, they're going to win tomorrow night. You can book that. And then they got blown out again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit. And and then today I really thought, like, even gambling, I don't bet a lot of money, but like, I had $20 on them to win today. I thought they were gonna win today. So,
it's nightmare fuel when, and they talked about it on the broadcast. We talked about it weeks ago, obviously, but how they really adjusted the rules to make sure it's really hard to have a position player pitch at all, right? And we had it happen.
Yeah, and we had Cody
nights,
fucking Clemens take
like
the mound 2 nights in a row
for you to be eligible to even try that, right? And it ends up happening back-to-back nights.
Four times already in 30 games.
It happened the first game of the season, right?
It's a disgrace.
Yeah.
Josh Harrison's been twice, and now Cody Clemens twice. That's a disgrace.
Well, now we know why Clemens stayed on the roster instead of Cave. There you go.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. I know we lost. I didn't know how. Oh, that's fun.
Oh, you saw the Sosa?
No, I just saw Max Muncy hit one that hasn't landed.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize it was a grand slam.
Oh, that was the game. That was the game winner for them, right?
Yeah.
Grand salami.
I knew we lost. I didn't know he hit a grand slam. I just thought he hit like a walk off.
Yeah.
First swing, yeah, right.
Was that and what happened before that? You said Sosa.
So in the inning before with Alvarado, granted, Alvarado wasn't lights out, but dude's been lights out all year. You can have it bad, But so it was first and third. They let Vargas steal without a throw. So now you have second, third, 2 outs. Alvarado throws a pitch, line drive, knee high right to Sosa, and he just whiffed. And the ball goes into left field, and they scored 2 runs.
Done that a couple times.
Just absolute whiffed.
He's done that a few times this year.
And like it went down as a hit. It didn't go down as an error because he didn't touch it or anything. But like full-fledged, it was an error.
Now in the bottom of the ninth was who started that inning? Kimbrel?
Yes, Kimbrel was in the whole inning.
So bases loaded was all him.
Yes.
Oh, so that's
couldn't
fun.
find the strike zone. Couldn't find the strike zone.
I think it was all walks. I don't even think it was a hit. Maybe the leadoff guy was a hit.
Leadoff, it was a liner to center field.
Yeah, leadoff because that was Taylor.
Guys, I hate to say it, right? This isn't an excuse for any of these guys.
Taylor,
man.
then he struck out Mookie, and then 2 walks.
This is all shit's contagious. Like hitting's contagious, pitching's contagious, fielding's contagious. It's all contagious. One guy starts fucking throwing meatballs, the rest of the squad follows. Or one guy can't locate, rest of the squad follows. Like, that's what this series was. So somebody's got to come right the ship of that. And if somebody does that, it's going to change, right? But somebody needs to then step up and come deal, right? Yeah. I don't care who's up next. Is Wheeler up next?
I think it is Wheeler.
I think it is Wheeler. So that's what an ace does. So now I need you going 7 1-run ball. I mean, that's what I need. That's what your teammates need, right? That's what you could have used from Nolan today, too. He ain't off the hook. He gave up 4 runs. Now, when he left the game, were they leading? I don't know.
Yeah, they were winning.
Okay. So then you got to hold a lead for him.
Sir Anthony finished his inning and cleaned it up. And then Alvarado came out in the 8th. And then that's where – and then –
Why is he pitching in the 8th?
High leverage?
That's exactly. It's the Rob Thompson. Put it on a T-shirt. High leverage situation.
How did that work out for you?
It didn't.
He gave up 10 runs.
He's your fucking closer.
And he's your closer. And he's been lights out.
Yeah, he's your fucking closer. So now you're going to – this all makes sense now. So now you're putting him in a different spot. Kimbrel's now in a different spot. Not that he's not used to closing, but every year's a new fucking year. So when you're used to the year before changes when your muscle memory gets used to all different things. So if you're in the 8th now and you've been pitching a lot of 7th, 8th like Kimbrel has, actually more 8th, to be honest with you, then now you're swapping those. Get a freaking clue, dude. You either trust the dude throwing or you don't.
The other day, Thompson, he was asked about the bullpen, about like Soto having a good stretch and saying some of these other guys.
I'll fire his ass too.
And he was saying, oh, well, it was important for these guys to be able to find roles within themselves in the bullpen. I'm thinking to myself, isn't that your job, Rob? To give them roles?
Supposed to be.
No, absolutely. And Tommy, you're actually like, if you throw Kimbrel in the 8th, at least you have opportunities then to go get somebody else to relieve him, right? Whether that's Soto or maybe you need 5 outs from Alvarado or 4 outs from Alvarado. If he's throwing in the 8th, you could do that. If he's throwing in the 9th, you can't do that because the game's over.
Yeah, so if you trust him enough to throw in the 9th, you trust him enough to throw in the 8th. If you trust him enough to throw in a tie game, you trust him enough to throw in a lead. So you can't swap it because certain guys are coming up and we're going to go by the book. We talk about this. The book will get you in trouble, right? At times, right? Here's an example of you just not saying, hey, you know what? Sir Anthony's been great. Kimbrel's been okay. He's had his moments. Alvarado's been sensational. Jose's our closer right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't even have to say it to anybody. You just go do it. Like, you don't got to say, hey, Sir Anthony and Craig, you guys one's going to be 7th, one's going to be 8, but that's going to be fluctuated. I don't care about you fluctuating 7th and 8th. They're the same damn thing. What is different is the 8th and the 9th is different. They're different. The closers, you can't make it up. Like, if you're closing, like he's been most of this time here, more times than not, right? He's been the closer. More times than not, he's pitching the 9th inning. And that's not, I have no stats to back that up. That's just what I've seen, right? And I think. Could be wrong, right? So now you're taking him out of what his comfort zone in, and any closer in baseball usually struggles in tie games or in the 8th inning. For the history of the game. Not all, but a lot do. The great Mo's probably unhittable no matter where you put him in at. But so's Alvarado. I mean, when Alvarado throws strikes, he's almost unhittable like Mo is. Yeah. You might as well just get the bus started. If he's in the strike zone, good luck. Good luck. So
Mo was good for a lot of 6-out saves.
True. There's
you know what I mean?
There's the outliers to this. All right?
Yeah.
The greatest of all time. right? There's always going to be an outlier. That's Mo. No, to your point. Right? Alvarado's not Mo, but he got lights out stuff.
But we've always said the toughest out to get is the 27th out.
Always.
For sure.
Yeah, it seems like he's just always, and we saw this last year, right? But I would say for the most part, just tried to give him the benefit of the doubt because, you're here for a reason. You got us there, so we'll ride with you type thing. But this is something that he's always done since he's taken over, right? To where he's so interested in the matchup or reinventing or trying to, oh no, here's a deeper dive at this. It's like, no, just leave it the way it is. Just leave it the way it is, right? Kimbrel, like we were saying, like Kimbrel has been up, down, so far this year, but at least recently he's been better, right? So like, put him in the 8th, put Alvarado where he's dominated in the 9th. I'm not saying that goes perfect, right? Like it could have been the same result, but if you're going to be the first guy, which he was, he said it the other day about talking about roles and finding roles. Well, then give him a role and give it to him and keep him there for more than 3.5 days.
And let them
embrace it and master it and get it done.
They're going to sink her.
And as far as the lineup goes, we got enough talent on this baseball team where you can set it and forget it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I got 2 ways of looking at that too. Like, I'm not a big believer in like mixing and matching all the time. I'm just not. You want to set it and sort of leave it, but you can. My not disagreement to you. My just devil advocate with some thoughts out there is that like you could put this lineup together any way you want to. Like it doesn't. There's not a set way. You have a lot of different ways you can go about this lineup. So this lineup's deep. So when it's deep, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like who bats where? Because you bat there one time. That's the biggest thing. So you look for protections for guys. That's what you look for when you're this deep. When you're not deep, then you're looking for the perfect lineup.
Right.
We're deep.
Yeah, I mean,
which our pitching staff fell deep, like it should be, like it fucking should be. And I'm gonna get pissed off about this at 12:40 at night. Like I wish our pitching staff acted like they were deep. All right, they ain't deep in their own people. Sorry.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wheeler looked all right in his last outing, but overall, he's had a slow start to the season.
Yeah, so did Nolan's last outing up until tonight. You know,
I mean, they both
Right.
went up against the Astros 2 tops and beat them.
and beat him. But listen,
Right.
today's an example. Is like, no, okay, Nolan, it wasn't great, but he still gave you the lead. He still had the lead when he left.
Right. He kept you in the game.
That's it. I mean, that's all I ask for any starter. No matter how much I'm paying you, right? Like, no matter how much I'm paying you, I just want you to keep me in it.
Yeah,
No, I hear you, but Bailey fucking Falter has also kept you in games. I mean, let's face it, we're looking for a little more than that from Nola, the likes of Nola and Wheeler. We need them to pitch more like aces.
I think your issue this year is Walker. I don't even like. I know Nola and Wheeler haven't been
Yeah,
that great.
Walker's been disappointing.
Well, Walker was brought in here to be that foil because we knew the fans knew it, we knew it, so clearly they should have known it that Nola and Wheeler is going to be a little touch and go just because of the the wear and tear of last season, right? And we would be without Ranger. Walker was brought in here to be that foil because, okay, this guy is at least going to be above average most of the time, and he's going to get you a lot of innings. He's been anything but that. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Yep.
He has, and the problem, and that's the problem to where when you haven't had the Nola Wheeler starts that are up to par with them or anything close at times, you're like, okay, well, you got to dive into the bullpen there. And then it's like, oh, well, Walker's coming up. Okay, he's going to eat 6 innings, right? Or 6 1/3 or anything like that. But now it's like the bullpen's getting behind the ball. Yeah, it's where it's like, thank God Strahm had a couple outings where he was like the ace, right? Just to get some of the bullpen guys rest. That's why, like we talked
about. And then out in L.A., he looked like the real Matt Strahm. You know what I mean?
Like somebody who's going to be a long reliever in hopefully a week, right? And that's why I think Ranger Suarez was so high on kind of like the needle movers of people this year. That's before we even saw any second of the season.
Well, because
we know he can.
Well, with Ranger, wherever you put him, wherever you put Ranger, it seems like he's succeeded. Whether he was a long man out of the bullpen, whether he was starting, or even whether he was, I think they occasionally used him as a middle reliever and setup guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he even close a game or two last year?
Yeah.
He may have.
Yeah, when we clinched the World Series. Yeah.
Yeah, but either way, like him, like
Ranger's very versatile.
Oh, he is. I think he's found the home as a starter. I hope. For the
I mean,
but I just don't want to even rush him back either. Like I want to make sure he's ready to go. I can't have another setback.
Absolutely.
So it's really like, hey, dude, if I got to give you another 3 weeks, I'll give it to you. Like whatever you need, bro. You need the June because right, the season doesn't end at the end of May. I got a lot of baseball still to play, and we seen that. Okay, like you can get hot and go on a run. It changes everything. All you are is 18 out of 20 from everything looking different. So do they have that run in them? That's the question, and that'll be the question until they have that run in him. But right now, Rob Thompson's lukewarm on me. There's some guys that are lukewarm on me on this baseball team that I'm a little bit worried about. And I think you're seeing, and we've rallied around it a little bit and done a good job, up until this series. But the Rhys Hoskins effect definitely hurts this team to a point. And you hope that Harper coming back.
30 homers out of your lineup. That's a big deal.
I think it's I think it's more than that. I think it's
That's what he brings to the clubhouse. He's well respected in the clubhouse.
It's the right-handed balance to the lineup, right? I mean, every guy that we try to replace him with, Cody Clemens, Jake Cave, Derek Hall, they're all lefties, which makes our lineup very left-handed. It works in a short, in a short 10, 15-day DL stint, it works. But when you're trying to replace that over a whole season, right before the season, that's where that injury looms.
Becomes very difficult
over words. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Not the biggest Reese fan, but if you have an off season to replace the production on the field, you absolutely can do that, right? Especially if you have an off season to go out and either trade for a guy or sign a guy off the free agent market, you can do that. But to try and do that internally a week before the season because that's all you had, right? You had a week before the season, and the only options you had were internal. It makes it tough to do that because you now see how important he is.
Ted, I mean, they start this Friday, 5:00. They're not going to be on Sixers post game stuff. No. Irv goes to bed early now, but they're not going to be on Sixers post game shows. Eagle stuff, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. They're not. I don't know if they're Sixers guys. You know what I mean? They're Eagles guys. They're football guys, and they're gonna be doing football things. So, but still good. Still good. You know what I mean? Good stuff this Friday. Vetted starts 5 p.m. Eastern. Only on HGD Radio. It's now 1 a.m. So, if you guys have stuff to still talk about, you're more than welcome. But I am, okay, good.
See you Friday.
I got nothing.
With a plug.
I mean,
I
we
gotta
had a
be
great
on the
draft.
floor. Have a good
So
one.
that's all I got to say.
I'm glad you had a great draft. A lot of questions tonight. You know what I mean? So, we'll get into all the questions later. Nothing happened, KZ. You know what I mean? We're doing a lot of stuff here. He's doing a lot of stuff there. You know what I mean? That's how it goes. Still our guy. That's all. Still our guy. People are busy. We got enough things to do here. So great show. I mean, it could have been better. Not on our end. Sixers could have helped that process.
We played for
Well, maybe they'll show up for Game 3.
Be nice.
Yeah,
They better show up for Game 3. So
yeah,
shouldn't be a thing. All right, for Frank Vespi, Noe Eaton, Greg Mlakovic, Ralph Del Vecchio, Ryan Brodo, I'm Tom Arnone. We love you all. We're brought to you by Philly Sports Trips, the Philadelphia 5 for 5 sports travel company, premium travel and tailgating experiences for the passionate fans of Philadelphia. Go to phillysportstrips.com, book your getaway. You can wait till tomorrow morning, but book it. All right, book it. We love you all. Let's go Sixers. Live reaction, second half, Friday night. If I'm not sleeping, we're out of here. Or is it